city-related maps we've had in the series so far has been remarkably restrained. Ugh. Like in Fist of the Ruby Phoenix, we got the whole island because there's no real cities, and the second book does have a map of the place where the tournament takes place. But here, between Carrick and the lot, it's been remarkably sparse when it comes to maps of towns and urban locations, which is a bit funky for an adventure that starts off with the distinct urban activity of hosting a circus.
And to be fair, we've only been to 2, but I guess there might be not more to come. I guess.
Oh no, I've looked ahead in book 3. I think Composite needs to reconsider how they do their R&D when it comes to adventure path content design, because it's kind of just depressing when the main thing that they market the book on just vanishes in the next one, either for compatibility purposes or just.
I really hope my internet's gonna be nice to me.
Oh, what's it doing, Bella?
It's taking forever.
Imagine me rub my little paws in your face. What's it doing, Bella? What's it doing? Anyway, what even happened last time, dorks?
We killed a dragon.
I think you beat up some people. You made a mess of the place. You allowed a creature to grow so large that it broke the walls.
And Solace didn't do anything.
I mean, he shot that clown down from a trapeze.
Yeah, the one that was going to let us through with just the game. We're all just like, oh, I am so sorry.
Absolutely ruined that person's day.
You had to apologize.
You also looked at a beautiful, strange boy. You know him. The moon mole.
Oh yeah,
that we wish to protect with our lives.
Thing existed.
Then you saw nature take its course on a Smilodon.
That was the thing that happened.
The beauty of nature.
And you dealt with some silly ladies. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on at the Celestial Menagerie.
Probably a lot less going on now.
Oh my gosh, you should probably be on the map. But now combat is over. The evil dragon has turned into a big smoldering pile. Just the thing that Call of Cthulhu monsters do, where they eventually just kind of evaporate in some fashion or another. In this case, it being just fire. Black, purplish fire. In addition, Maziel is dead, which, neat. He was at least effective in the end.
Oh, man.
He did way more.
You don't even have proof of the dragon.
Yeah, I want to keep the head.
Unfortunately, there won't be much of a head left at this rate.
Yeah, I mean, like, we can't even just go to the console and be like, hey, look at this dragon.
Look at this dragon that I just found. Gosh, why's the dragon resizing every time I hover over it? Ugh, stop it. Well, Ruby's probably the only person who can see the adjacent room all that well. And Laura too, I guess. But it appears to be some sort of bedroom, although it's completely messed up now that the dragon's been rampaging through it. Dericus, who, honestly, I'm surprised he survived this.
It's a miracle.
It is almost Christmas.
Or the Nabasu ran off and got shot in the back. It's great. It's great. As the situation cools down a little bit, Dericus steps up and puts his hand firmly upon his chest. I see that justice has been served and that the situation is resolved properly.
No thanks to you.
Oh, all thanks to me, thanks to my keen investigation skills. We have been able to unravel this mystery down to the core.
What did you do?
Other than stand in our way when we were trying to expose the real
I think if you want to learn the full extent of my contributions, you can read it in the official report when it is publicized.
God, I hope you're not the one writing it.
Of course I am. I am, after all, a chief deputy constable.
Great.
It's a lot of titles for a guy who isn't actually in charge of anything.
I think he's just a deputy constable, though. But I think after this, he might be a chief deputy constable.
He considers himself the chief. There's Petey Constable.
He likes to walk
Assistant
up to
to the
people and
regional
knock them
manager.
down and say thanks, chief. Gosh, his art still manages to grasp my soul.
Stupid
The
prick.
smiley dude.
Yeah, the fucking look at my smile. Where is your art, Darkus? Oh, you can just look it up. Nope, it's not.
Dinkus.
No, it's Darkus. Just get a load of him.
Do we have to?
No.
I've had enough of this dude.
He manages to, shall we say, eloquently and elegantly extricate himself from the current situation by firmly walking away while declaring that he has cracked this case open like a tasty nut.
He's a nut.
Cool.
I-
Well,
I
what do you do
think the
as you stand amongst this
unfortunate-
semi-burning debris?
I mean, return to investigating the actual scene. The game's paused, so
Yeah,
I can't.
Well, let me make one thing clear to you. You can definitely investigate a scene while the game is paused. This is a thing called telling the gym what you're actually doing, because that way I can tell you what's happening. There's no examine button in this video game.
I assumed
Uh,
that you would trigger a landmine or something.
Sometimes I do, but I can also trigger those if you just tell me where you're going. I like examine button in RuneScape. Always loved in the cutscenes, examining everything. I was more busy with that than actually watching the freaking cutscene. You always have to wait until the end of it.
yeah, it's kind of like the little zoom feature for Metal Gear.
But the problem is because the cutscenes use the same text box, but they usually overlay it with the heads and the big text. You have to wait till the end of the cutscene to see what the examine text actually was. Oh, why'd you make it like this, RuneScape? I always get so distracted. Well, Solace Creek dusts himself off and raises his finger poignantly to the sky. The situation has gotten far more extreme than I could have possibly imagined. I will leave it to you while I make out report on the situation with the person in charge.
I mean, that's probably where we're going next, so.
He stands there for a moment because he realizes there's a slight complication. Would you happen to know what that might be?
He doesn't,
He doesn't
who's
know who was in charge.
Exactly. It's
So
kind
he
of
just
hard.
kind of showed up.
I mean, he knows who's in charge of the guard, so he knows who to report to. That he can do. He doesn't quite know what's actually going on here, considering that there's two of the same, and then one became a dragon, and then Derrikus, who wasn't Derrikus like trying to fool you or something?
Yeah, we're not sure what was up with Derrikus, actually.
Solace wasn't wearing a full face
I have
helmet.
a question for. I have a question for Dusklight. Where did this dragon come from?
Yeah, what the hell happened, Dusklight?
Dusklights gives you. If you were dealing with someone who was more the schmoozy type, who would try to make themselves look as good as possible, knowing that the situation is kind of turned against them, this would probably be told as a sappy sob story with fake tears and everything. She tells the story on how she was. God damn it! I got the. As always, I always get badass during freaking morning games. Makes it hard to talk or interrupted. Pressure on my lungs. The point is, she tells you a story on how she eventually came to discover Moonstone Hall, where she was gallivanting around town. And that's a nice verb to use. You should gallivant sometime, kids. While she was gallivanting around town, she came across the Moonstone Halls. There wasn't anyone there at the time, except for a certain ghost who kept yelling at her.
Yeah, we met him.
that one.
He's gone. He's gone now. It's fine.
She had enough of him real fast.
So did we.
She would like to exchange what exactly he said, because she did find it kind of funny that this guy thought he had anything to say. Any say in the matter is that. She found the Moonstone diadem and managed to use one of the pools for her own nefarious purposes, but she learned something she didn't like. And apparently,
She's explaining it to us with the word nefarious.
whatever she saw in the pool, she didn't like at all. And as a result of that, well, this thing claims to have come from that. Spawned of negative emotions, or at least drawn to it. And then shortly afterwards, those, whatever they're called, came. Those stinky boys, you know? With the dinosaurs.
This is actually all your fault.
Well, she had nothing to do with the stinky boys. She also didn't unleash any of the monsters near your home. At least that's what she's insisting.
Oh, side note, I'm finally loaded in. Yay.
Hooray.
There's a reason why in my Saturday game, I'm going to stop having players rely on maps. Because that way, if they're not loaded in, I can say, you can still just tell me what you're doing. And then I can flutter my eyelashes. I will put on some fresh, full luminous locks in my eyelashes.
Like, I could, like, the character sheets weren't even, like, available to me either, so.
Solace will, however, have to move around the room, stomping out the curtains as they burn up. It's quite the conversation to have in an ambiently burning building, but I think it adds to the... It's a nice, cozy fire.
He's had difficulty with curtains.
Yeah. He's got a vendetta now.
Luckily, he's not that kind of clown where he would point his sword at it, declaring vengeance upon the curtains, so...
So, Dusklight, essentially,
Dusklight,
the Moonstone.
She exonerates herself. Every action that she's taken has been entirely within her legal boundaries. It's this thing, this which has now become a slurry on the ground, is the thing that's committed all the crimes you intend to accuse her of.
I mean,
I don't know how much I'm going to buy that.
Well, then what do you want? What do you want to implicate her for? What excuses does she have to feed you to make you go away?
Didn't she tell us that she was doing some stuff down in the Moonstone Hall with the smuggling earlier?
Oh, she was looting it. You found her shopping list.
Yeah, we have a letter, especially with the...
I mean, the letter was implied to have been written by the doppelganger, but...
No,
kind of...
Oh, wait, yeah.
Part of me wants to, like, show her the shopping list and go, how did you know these things were there, and why were you collecting them?
Well, first off, she runs a circus. So I don't know why the hell you're asking why she's going down there collecting interesting trinkets.
Yeah, well, maybe there's a nefarious reason. She's a nefarious lady.
Despite the fact that up until like 10 minutes ago she was tied up and stuffed in a closet in a mirror maze, she seems more than eager to go back to her ways of poking people in the chest while she talks. Although you have such a firm chest, it's like poking a table. Or armor.
The table is really hot.
You also wear like incredibly sturdy armor.
Yeah.
It goes plink plink when their claw touches it. The point is that there were... Like, she doesn't know what was down there, but certainly you stumbled across the ghosts, the specters, the hauntings, and the security features that place has. Like, she could see things, but she had to plan how to get them, is what she basically tells you.
Alright. Well, another thing that I'm...
Solo engineering is dangerous.
Maybe we should look around and see if the dragon had any contact with anyone else. Because if it was sophisticated enough to like contact the Zolgath and organize them to some extent, maybe it was trying to get some fingers in some other pies, or have some like other goals.
I mean, that is a reasonable thing to assume for this kind of evil.
Yeah. So I feel like things probably won't end here.
They never do.
I had enough of this dude. Also, look at this. I like this picture a lot. Although, look at that cute. Look at that.
Hey,
It's,
it's
a
the
f-
wheel.
it's the wheel of fun. Why are you so negative, Dizzy? Because you got blown up by it?
Well, someone got blown up by it.
The whole party.
Being blown up, I think, usually makes you pretty negative about them.
Like, man, you weren't kidding about that building just being made out of plywood.
Why would I?
It's like it's made out of cardboard.
But it's raining and it's not melting.
It's like I live in a building made out of cardboard.
Anyway, yeah, I was gonna, rifle through
Mr.
private chambers.
Light does look for her own personal possessions. Unfortunately, it seems that this dragon doesn't keep diaries like some villains tend to do. And Maziel probably is the closest person who might have known anything, given that, Maziel was in her closet, quite literally.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
Well,
Guy
he's
starts
dead.
off inside this closet structure. It should be noted that...
He's not helping out.
Anyway, as you peek into the bedroom, this large room is decorated with colorful curtains and low, comfortable furniture. An exquisitely carved mahogany four-poster stands in one corner, piled high with luxurious satin sheets, plum pillows, and a damask coverlet in midnight
Ew.
blue. Circus poster showing Mr. Zeskas act over the many years as an acrobat, an animal tamer, and a ringmaster adorn the walls and gilded frames. The room and the way it is dusted, cleaned, and set up suspiciously looks like the last person to actually live in the space didn't care much for sleep or creature comforts. Anyway, since I don't get to read this text, but I think that it's fucking adorable. The way that you're supposed to get into that encounter, which, if you take care of Derrickis inside of this room, and the whole situation doesn't devolve like a fucking clown show. You get this. So when you go into this room, she goes, "Oh no, assassins!" And it's so fucking adorable. Oh, he basically starts acting like a paladin dork.
But instead,
Oh.
since we got in there and it was a clown show,
Let's be honest. If you can devolve into a clown show, that's great.
Well, this
well,
is a
especially
circus.
because, yeah,
Mission complete.
mission failed successfully.
Well, you can definitely take from the bed the items that have been strewn upon it, which appear to be a bottle of... Wow. Don't know if that's for the bedroom or for someone's wine, but... Ugh.
Ugh. This dragon's been leaving fluid everywhere.
I've known a few dragons like that.
Well, other than that doesn't seem like you're going to be finding an incredibly incriminating manifesto of any kind.
Mm.
Oh, Moonstone died.
Probably
there
have
is.
one for each of us now.
Whole party can wear one.
Got matching hats.
Great, now it's not fashionable anymore because everyone has one.
Well, now we're fashionable as a group.
Well, yeah. Doesn't seem like there's any further information. Solus, what
Well,
are you
I'm
doing?
sure the problems will find us. They've been doing that pretty well so far.
I'm trying to find evidence, for it is when evil hides the evidence that good will never learn the truth.
I mean,
That
fair
was,
enough.
Yeah. That was how evidence works.
Hey, his one-liners have never been good. Let's start talking to him about how bad they are now.
Well, primary
Solus-
source of evidence seems to be dead.
And our secondary source of evidence is dead.
Odds are Derrickis doesn't know much either, because he seemed to be as surprised about the dragon as we were.
I don't think that guy knows much of anything. Just in general.
So I do wonder something. We just got another Moonstone diadem, right?
Yes.
And we know that Dusklight used one on the pools, right?
Mm.
In fact, she used this one specifically. What if we went to that same pool?
I mean,
Could we possibly find info there?
Assumedly, it would just show us what we already saw. Like, I assume these things open the same, like, projections.
The diadems show you are interchangeable in terms of function.
Yeah, I was just wondering if we found the same one that she went to. If we could find what she did, like find her memories from it. Because if she interacted with it, then it could have recorded her.
In case you forgot, I did mention, not last time, but maybe the time before that, they could indeed see a memory of her gazing into the Moonstone Pool. Unfortunately, there's no Drosdy effect going on, so you cannot see the memories that she saw herself. But whatever she saw made her definitely not all that excited.
Yeah, I made a note of that. Dusklight saw some shit in the Moonstone Pool and made her feel some emotions. Those were my notes from the from the projection we saw. So yeah, we were aware of that, but
yeah, I had forgotten about that.
Yeah,
that's fair enough. It's been a few weeks.
So here's the thing: do we take Dusklight to the constable to like be charged till we clear her name, or do we just let her continue?
I mean,
I'd assume she'd at least be getting, examined.
Yeah, she's probably gonna have to testify regardless.
This is pre-Magna Carta rules. She can testify against herself.
Solas makes one thing quite clear, that is that the only surviving third party is Derricus, who is most likely going to give the testimony that is the least disruptive, aka, oh, there was a spooky dragon, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, he's probably going to say there was a spooky dragon, and I dispatched it heroically.
How do you know what he's saying? Gosh, Ruby.
All on my own.
Are you a wizard?
I have psychic abilities to tell what idiots are going to do.
I have idiocence.
It's a powerful skill.
Definitely.
Yeah, especially in the modern era.
However, Solas will excuse himself, for he has gotten a sense that there is something foul afoot, of which the Pathfinders and other paramilitary associations within Absalom need to know about right away.
Alright. Take care of yourself.
I wish you the best of
luck. Please don't get into any fights on the way home.
And that the next time that we may meet, may it be in the better circumstances, or at least in the fight against evil. But before I go, I must dispense for you one more wisdom, lest you stay in the dark amid these uncertain times. Gosh, let me see if I can make up a nice one for you. It is when good leaves the apple pie to cool that evil sees the opportunity for an early snack. Remember the words of Solace Creek.
I feel like I'm drunk every time I hear him.
I'm thankful he went out the back, because I feel like if he went out the way we came, he'd finish off his job.
Yeah, probably hit that clown a few more times.
That poor clown.
Well, luckily, you don't have to endure any of that, because he seems to have left through the other.
Yeah.
Gosh. Dusklight probably glares at everyone who keeps using her destroyed building as a back door. But that's besides the point. She seems to have gathered up a variety of personal belongings and valuables. And I'm pretty sure you can envision what that looks like when she too steps over the debris of the collapsed wall and just starts setting off her own way.
Yeah, she's for sure gonna skip town.
I mean, you blew up her circus. She got replaced by a duplicate dragon.
Yeah, I'd be pretty out by now.
Gonna go live with her grandma for a few months.
And her boyfriend's dead, so, yeah. See ya.
Fair enough.
Well, unless you want to puppet Maziel's corpse, it seems that this room has become quite empty now.
We should probably start heading back too.
Excellent.
At least make our report to the guard captain.
Want to liberate some creatures on the way?
I kind of do. Fuck capitalism.
Did you ever even talk to the guy at the midway? No, I don't think so.
Probably
The guy
not.
at
The games gallery.
No, we avoided that
no.
hardcore.
But,
Yeah, we didn't trust it.
We saw him from a distance, went, nah, no,
And-
no way.
and yet you trusted the wheel.
No,
One
we
of us
didn't.
trusted the wheel.
I flutter my eyelashes
Hey,
at you.
It was a
I
fortune
trusted
device.
None of that wheel.
I wanted to see what our fortune was.
All right.
From the evil person who kept us, like, enslaved.
Okay, I got a question for y'all.
Yes.
Slap, slap. What do you do?
Well, we gotta go make our report.
To whomst?
Miss Guard Captain.
Good
lady.
old.
Hey, maybe you just want to bring out a report to a guard and have them deliver it for you. I don't know how you want to handle your
Look,
business.
I don't think I trust them enough for that.
I'm not even talking about Derrickis, I'm just talking about any random guard. Making your way back, and I imagine you go through the main entrance, and along the way you do stumble across A, the large monster that you left parked outside, and B, a slowly growing group of guards who have probably been informed that you're taking care of business, but at the same time they see like demon corpses and shit.
Yeah,
And
that's our business.
And the crater left behind by the wheel firing and everything. It's
business is good.
if you want to call it that.
You know, circus stuff.
I mean, if you want to free some creatures, you never went inside the Sanctum of Sublime Spectacle, and you left the Glen of Uncommon Wonders completely barred up. Although by
Yeah,
this
I kind
point,
of get things out of the Uncommon Wonders.
I imagine at this point that Adruvalo has already left. The point that the dragon started bursting through the ceiling was probably the point where he felt that this has gone too far.
No, I'm suddenly not invested
Uh,
in this job anymore.
I asked if we wanted to liberate the creatures, but
Yeah, I want to liberate the creatures. Fuck capitalism.
The Sanctum of Sublime Spectacles contains a variety of exciting individuals. One of which is, you know, Paizo, for a company that claims to be all about the niceness, you really hammed it up here. The Dancing Quarterlings are one of the Sanctum of Sublime Spectacles shows. They're halflings without legs.
oh,
Come
The
on,
two-
Paizo.
There is the Living Atlas, which, welcome to Waterworld, I guess. Carmine Elora is a Verusian woman with the location of her family's fabled treasure tattooed on her thigh. Let's see. Gosh. What is the show? Oh gosh, she's covered head to toe in detailed maps. Mistress Dusklight sure loves tattooing people, between Fishman and this lady.
I mean, it's probably cheap.
Then there's the marvelous Bat Boy, who has membranous wings grafted on him. He is in constant pain and requires constant painkillers because
Because that's painful.
I will appreciate how much they want you to absolutely hate her. They are not holding
I know
back.
They didn't need to add anything for that.
I think. I mean, you know, if you play it, if you go with another background, then no. There's Matchstick Flynn. Oh my fucking god! It's a tiefling that survived the burning down of his orphanage. Because he has fire resistance, he does fire swallowing and torch juggling. Pretty sure anyone who knows what a tiefling is going to be less impressed by that. Oh god! Now his act involves setting his whole body on fire. While its fire resistance protect him, it's extremely painful and has resulted in extensive scarring. Oof.
Ugh.
Finally, there's the repulsive Froggo. Listen, the Froggo is one of the popular ones in the Hero School anime.
Yeah.
It's a small and underfed boggart. Sump Sadie has been abused since she was a tadpole. So you probably have known her. She wears a pink chiffon dress. Stage is decorated to look like a wealthy kid's. Oh.
There's so
that's
much just evil.
There's so much about this that makes me wonder, is this really something people pay to see? Because this just sounds sad.
That is kind of how old circuses were.
Yeah.
I'm sad, though. The delightful dryad was that lady you saw stuck inside. As you can imagine, keeping a dryad's tree in a pot is not a good thing. So she's going to put that down somewhere where there's a little bit more for the roots to grow. The winged Wanda, misanswered the Pegasus. Thanks you politely, although he is the kind of creature that immediately afterwards goes, you could have done it sooner if you were going to do it anyway. When you were here the first time, instead of believing that ruckus man. The Savage Man-Beast, however, is far more... I mean, it's a manticore, but he has surprisingly more manners. Because he's more like, oh yeah, when he jumps out. I'm gonna find that clown, I'm gonna bite his head off. And then he sets off on his quest to find Adrivallo. And bite his head off.
Where was the clown?
Yeah, where was Mr. Knife Hands the clown?
Where was Mr. Knife Hands the clown? Who knows? I mean, you also missed Victor Volcano and the other guys.
Yeah, well.
I'll give you the real reason. It's because Paizo doesn't like reusing enemies, despite it being a perfectly sensible thing to do. I'm pretty sure they gritted their fucking teeth doing that in Fists of the Ruby Phoenix, and even then they did it like once for a couple of characters. Trust me, their resistance to reusing enemies is just baffling. Come on, have some themes, have some fun, introduce characters, use them. I know you want to make the APs independently runnable, Paizo, but people want to fight the clown with the knife hands.
Yeah, he was terrifying and looked super evil.
Everybody loves a recurring mid-boss, a Team Rocket kind of dude.
There's also the problem with the fact. There's also the problem that in the first book they introduced the mechanical carnies, which were weaponized mechanical, carnival attractions. I'm like, why aren't those involved in the defense of the? Because they're concerts. Who fucking cares? And finally, the last person that's around. I mean, maybe they were all like sent home because you're not strong enough to actually be of use. Although that doesn't make any sense because Cargrit, that fucking were-rat who runs the obviously rigged carnival games, he's level 2. You could just sneeze on him and he'd fall over. Well, that's it. You've taken everyone out of their cage and put them back on the streets.
Yay.
Woo, we happy. We did good.
Some of them flew off to find their own fortunes. Others are probably going to have to find a way to integrate into society. Or something else. And then there was Mammoth Girl under Mammoth. But now, you make out your report. After having successfully almost completely dismantled the circus. You'll make your way back to... Gosh, Paladrine. Gosh. What? Every time. I'm like, your name sounds like Paladin or Pauldron. Makes my brain hurt. Also, while this picture is incredibly adorable for the purposes of the sunken temple, that is neither of the temple... Like, it's way deeper than that. And also, holes implies that there's a way to look down. Shafts of sunlight may be aesthetically pleasing, but they confuse the matter. Ugh. We never did get to see Delamar Javin again, did we? Mr. Pink Shirt.
Oh, yeah. We beat him up at the circus, and then he ran away.
To be fair, everyone you beat up pretty good.
Yeah. They learn.
And Dara Paladrine says that she's just gotten information from, who was it again? That Solace Creek guy. She's gotten a mostly cohesive debriefing on the matter. But she would like to hear your opinions too, to verify information. Also, Derricus hasn't shown up yet, despite her being pretty sure that he said he was going to be there too.
Wait, he didn't show up yet?
He might have gotten to get himself a drink after a job. Maybe something happened.
I mean,
unless you feel like being particularly charitable, I won't ask you to find him or anything. I want your report.
Okay. Sure, we can relay off pretty much everything we learned. I don't think there's any information that that would be particularly sensitive.
The situation appears to be a little bigger than I expected. While I'm uncertain exactly what the deal is with this dragon thing, it could have been a one-off event, which would at least let me sleep at night. What I'm more concerned about is this whole... What did you call them again? Those stinky things.
Zolgath
The Zolgath.
with an
Yeah, I've
X.
seen a lot of them lately.
This is a concerning affair. From what I have heard, those are supposed to be underground, or like... They don't come to polite society, and they definitely don't start tangling with it in this fashion. Together with what Josannes reported to me, I have the strong suspicion that the situation is growing bigger. I've sent Solus on his way with a letter of recommendation so that he could hopefully convince some individuals in Absalom to take some action, but... She sits there for a moment. Are you at all familiar with the activities of the Pathfinder Society?
We hear about them once in a while.
We've had a run-in
Like,
in the past.
And what is your opinion of them?
yeah, with a couple members.
Uh,
Seem like good people.
Eh?
they're adventurers with badges, basically. That's my
They
opinion.
do our thing, but
Yeah.
they have people tell them they can do it instead of just doing it.
My personal opinion is that the vast majority of the time that the adventuring... every single time that the Pathfinder Society solves a problem, they do it with a bunch of fresh recruits that no one's ever heard of, that have no reputation whatsoever, who happen to be in the right spot and somehow manage to survive it. To put it bluntly, I'm not going to trust the Pathfinder Society to do shit. Because they never send their high-level and capable agents, they always send their idiots, and that somehow stumble into success. The last thing I want is the entire survivability of the Isle of Cortos and Erin to rely on a bunch of idiots that no one's ever heard of surviving to the end.
It's funny how many times that ends up happening.
Yes.
That's
That's
how
how-
those guys we found at the pyramid thing who nearly died. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I mean, like, literally every single adventure path works like that. Like, you happen to be in a place and you happen to get your ass kicked and somehow survive to the end.
Yeah.
Assuming
It's
that
always,
the APs are run by the Pathfinder Society, that's how it works.
the plot is always, hey, you're some random dudes. Do this quest for us.
Oh no, we uncovered the crimes of God.
Oh, well,
Okay,
guess
it's
it's your
level
job.
2, get to work.
And then you go, but why can't you do it? And it's like, listen, I'm very comfortable in my chair right now. I don't want to get up.
Look,
have a
once you
guy who's
finish
like a-
solving these crimes of God, then you can sit in the chair next time there's some crimes against God.
And you'll feel very happy about being in my position.
That's how it works.
And Era Pearldreen,
Everybody
however,
does one.
does want to point out that you seem to be the most capable individuals, and judging by what Josanna said, you are also well underway to going places. In addition, there is a part of her that accurately points out that if she starts talking about the end of the world, that might cause some chaos. So it might be beneficial if you take care of matters, since you've proven yourself to be far more capable than the average adventure path hero, shall we say.
I mean, we did start very low level.
We also did get our asses kicked once.
Well then, it seems like you're already well underway.
This is what, chapter 3 now? 3 or 4?
This is
Yeah,
book 2 out of 6.
book 2.
She sits back in her chair, and if she smoked, she probably would, like, this is the point where she plot one in. Either way, I would like to send you towards the Swordlands. That is where the other towers are located, after all, or at least 3 of them are.
Swordlands? I've never heard of those. I've heard of the Swadlands, though.
So I'm not polite to comment on someone's accent. Of course, this is an incredibly big ask to make of some random strangers who happen to be running a circus. So I can perfectly understand if you're willing to decline, in which case we will have to rely on whatever assistance our good friend Solus Creek can mobilize.
Oh no, I can't in good conscience leave that to him.
Yeah.
I mean, he seemed like a more than
He
capable...
seemed nice.
Hmm?
He seemed nice.
Man can't hit a broadside of a barn.
Well, yeah, that's true. But I mean, like,
Man can't
I'm
hit
not
a
talking about his
broadside of a
skills.
dragon.
But he can hit the broadside of a clown like that's nobody's business.
Also, he thought mirror monsters were real.
He's
yeah.
I think
I
we're
mean, we'll have to-
fucked in that case.
we'll have to take it up with the other members of the circus because either we're going to have to travel as a group or split up. And
I'm certain you
yeah,
can get matters settled. But there is one more thing. I don't know. She reaches down and puts a big fat coffer on the table. In case you wonder what that loot spot is, she puts a big note on top of it and shoves it towards you. I think it is only fair that you receive some gratuity from the people of the city, as you have dismantled what may have devolved into something far worse. I know the beginnings of a death cult when I see one.
I'm just sad we didn't get to keep the dragon head.
The small coffer, if you were to open it, it's a simple wooden coffer, nothing too special, contains about 3,000 gold pieces.
that's big money.
Ooh.
If you want to know where it's from, it's assorted taxes they've collected from the Celestial Menagerie and all that kind of stuff. In addition, on top of it, is what's called a writ of backing. It's not legally binding. You can't force anyone to do anything when you wave it at them, outside of Escadar at least. But it basically means that the Escadar law enforcement is like, these guys are legit.
They
Yeah,
take
these
responsibility
records,
for
yeah.
anything that we end up doing.
Within the legal confines of what you were sent to do, of
Yeah,
course.
they're basically endorsing us.
Yeah.
Also, I posted my response when they said Solace being in charge.
We are all going to die. And he kicks the door.
Thanks, Obama.
Dump that in here.
I don't know what's going on, but the loot sheet is a bit broken. Keeps
Yeah,
talking
this-
about flat
Mm.
modifiers.
Some weird pop-ups. The things work. It works fine.
It's
There's
legacy stuff.
pop-ups.
Legacy stuff. Being all silly and confused.
Yeah.
Andorra Beldrine leans back. Well, on the plus side, I heard the Swartlands are a delightful place to be. Especially this time of year. Lots of rolling green hills, and honestly, if you people can take care of large dinosaurs, if that's what my crew found down there, then I'm certain that you can handle pretty much anything out there.
I mean, that's a big call.
I mean, this is a problem that I have with Pathfinder 2nd Edition. The way level scaling works, the wilderness can never make sense. But, putting behind us the complications of extreme level scaling, she's like, hey, listen, the Swordlands are probably going to be nice and easy for you. Walk in the park. After all, it'd be fucking ridiculous if you found high-level monsters near towns full of low-level... Like, again, I don't get it. They want to have their cake and eat it too. You can't do that anymore, Paizo.
Problem I had where it's like the old Final Fantasies. You walk outside of a town and you get attacked by something that can annihilate lesser gods, and you're like, okay, how is this town still here?
It's like, it kind of makes sense in Pathfinder 1st Edition, because one, you can use traps and tricks and all that kind of stuff, and the actual DCs for certain things aren't even that high. But here, no, Paizo, I'm not going to give my party a plus 10 circumstance modifier to compensate for your fuckery. Ugh. Like I said, 2E is not compatible with the world it's made for, which is the funniest shit ever. Well, as she said, Carrick will probably be your destination, as it is the closest harbor of the Swartlands.
The Swadlands.
If everything goes all right, you should be able to visit all those towers and do all your business in less than a week. Ish. It's actually a pretty big area, but it's a nice, calm area. Hey, you can visit some towns. She heard there's some festivals there around this time of year. Maybe you can enjoy someone else's circus show. That isn't an utterly depressing event to be at.
Also, I have a question, Pellegrine. What is going to happen to the menagerie?
Where is Dusklight?
She just kind of walked
She
off
kinda
into the
left.
sunset.
Well, in that case, then the city will confiscate all assets and liquidate them when necessary.
Alright.
I
Fair
called
enough.
it.
Of course, we will release any individuals that desire to be released, and others we will find a place for, or let them go as they see fit.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense. They're here on rented ground, and if they hang around for longer than the lease allows, then pretty much forfeit everything that's there.
This isn't Chiliax, where we would take everyone's slaves and use them to cover any outstanding debts. I think if you ever have the time, we can have a delightful talk about the legal situation. And although isn't Chiliax by this point dissolved, something happened to it in one of the adventure. Jesus Christ, you could not do a time skip in any Galarian environment, because every time you take 10 years, like 4 different adventure paths happen that change the world fundamentally. Jesus. Busy world, busy world.
So I
try
just took time and on another plane of existence for like a week. What happened? Oh, we discovered electricity.
Well, actually, technically, some other guy had already invented it, but now we have electric lighting.
And guns are real now.
Not just real, everyone has guns. It's just for some reason
Also-
the kids have guns.
Also, here's my iPhone. We jumped.
It's not a real.
Really hard.
No. It's not an iPhone. It's a Pathfinder phone.
Mm.
Paladrine,
It's a
get
ninja
iPad.
phone.
Paladrine, get iPad.
Ugh. So what happened to Absalom? Well, despite the fact that the town is incredibly densely built like most European cities, we had space for a subway system and a metro and a tram.
Just had to demolish 30% of the buildings in
Yep.
it.
We also built a bridge and a tunnel leading to a variety of environments. God damn it.
Nobody lives here now, but our public transit is fantastic.
Nobody lives here. Also,
Big
Abadar's
thumbs up.
Abadar's become the first mega corporation. That can't be good. Uh,
They've started their own website called Amazon.
Epison?
Mhm.
Abadar, why would you lower yourself to this? He's like, I've only got like 200 years before that stupid tribune god shows up. And then he's going to monopolize warp travel. He's going to monopolize drift travel. What am I supposed to? I don't like monopolies when they're not mine. Poor guy. Well, Paladin says that you probably have a lot to do because you got to find a boat to take you there. You're not quite wizard teleport wherever the fuck you feel like level. And she has a lot of paperwork to do and probably has to find Derricus. Be drunk on the floor somewhere. Although she's
well,
not
I
sure
mean-
why.
What did
he
Darius
not see the fight?
tell you?
As she mentioned,
He
he hasn't
didn't
come
show
yet.
up.
Yeah.
Okay, Darius sucks.
If you,
Yeah.
since you're probably not going to bother figuring this out because it's like a side detail.
I mean, I was about to ask, does he seem the type to just get drunk after a successful mission?
Assuming the changes in the current situation, what do you think might have motivated him to maybe get a drink? Knowing a little bit of what he's like.
His entire sense of justice being corrupted by the fact that he was working for a demon doppelganger for a considerable period of time.
I think it's more that he found out that the person that was paying him a lot of money to be a corrupt officer is gone now. You know, it's
Ah.
like, oh man, I don't get paid thousands of gold to do nothing.
His paycheck was probably tomorrow too.
God damn it! How can I afford this
Everyone's gonna
expensive,
be
trashy?
pay raise.
How am I supposed to afford all these trashy Indian pale ales now?
I do hate IPAs.
It tastes like garbage, but it's so expensive. Ugh. He's probably slammed by the time you find him. Well, that'll look good on the report. Showed up drunk before he gave it. Ah.
He shows up at work the next day with sunglasses on. Just incredible hungover.
Anyway, you guys have work to do.
Yeah.
As does Paladrine, who has already started pulling out sheets of paper to fill in report information. AKA your, testimony.
We need to head back to the circus and tell everyone what's been going on.
Because it is
And that
a lot.
Oh,
also,
definitely.
it's a good thing we've been suggesting others probably join because 2 of their act seems to be leaving quite often. At least main stage act. And I'm here.
Well then, where do you go? Back to the circus?
Yeah, it seems like the next priority.
The professor is, as always, your like obvious talking to point because he's the guy that manages everything, and he's such a nice old guy. You could give him a slap on the back any day of the week, and he'll be like, "Oh."
That's a good reaction. There he is.
The professor.
There's the man himself.
What gadgets are we getting this week, Q?
God, he's such a nice looking guy.
The professor sees you approaching. Well, he's probably heard something by now, considering that he always has barkers and feelers out in the streets. And Solace Creek is a loudspeaker, shall we say. You're not sure if he can even whisper at this point.
F-Point wasn't exactly subtle. The wall crashing.
You've returned. How is everything, in spite of your prolonged absence?
Well,
everything's been
Killed a dragon.
Yeah, and the menagerie doesn't exist anymore.
That's good news to hear, although I hope that you mean that in a sense that didn't involve burning the whole place and everyone into the ground.
No, only like 2 walls got smashed and a wheel got exploded. Beyond that, everyone else would just kind of open some doors and beat up a dragon.
It was always a lovely wheel. I wonder if they still had that Rod of Wonders lying around. Well, irrelevant. Well then.
They had a lot of things lying around.
Mind if I ask, given how everything has been going, and would you? Now, I don't know where to begin with this. But have you been hanging out with any ghosts recently?
We got rid of one. Oh my God, is he here?
One very racist ghost.
I did get some vibes off of him that you might call that. He introduced himself as Ulthadar.
Oh God!
And we got rid of him.
And could you guess what his first sentence was? What the first thing he said to me was?
Thank God, finally a human.
Exactly. How did you know?
Yeah, it's him.
Idiot sense. Don't worry about it.
The point is, he came to me and insisted on telling me that something about. I'm not too good with all this religious hokey pokey, but he talked all kinds of big words about chosen ones and grand destinies and.
Oh God.
I merely wish to know exactly what you're up to and if this will interfere with the circus in any fashion.
Well.
And if perhaps next time you can tell whatever specters and spirits you visit not to bother me during my hours working on the ledgers.
Okay, we thought he moved on, actually.
Yes,
we thought he was gone.
He's supposed to be in hell.
Or whatever the equivalent is.
One of them. There's like 3.
3. There's the place where they fight, the place where they have the books, and the place where it's infinite death.
Hopefully the last one.
Oh, that's mean. It's already been a ghost for hundreds of years, and now you're sending us straight to the abyss. Anyway, the professor would like to know if this is going to be a recurring element or anything.
Unfortunately,
I
yes.
mean, probably for as long as we're here, but I mean, we're a circus, we travel.
Yes, I think it might be time
Hopefully
to move on from Iskadar anyway.
Speaking of, we kind of have been given a lead to go to the Swadlands.
The Swadlands, yes?
Yes. Not the Swordlands. It's legally distinct.
The breadbasket of Absalom. The only reason Absalom has been able to withstand so many sieges, assaults, and takeovers, other than the fact that Abadar holds a stranglehold on most foreign economies at this point, is that the Swadlands have always produced an excess of, well, food. Quite the green place, although I've heard that it was better in the olden days. Since you've been talking to ancient Andorian, God, what's the name again? Andoran? Andorian priests. Would you know more about that, perhaps?
Not particularly. I know a lot about.
Oh, but you mentioned you were. What was this? You were going to the sword dance, or you were visiting? What was it?
We've basically gotten a lead from the law enforcement here that we kind of should go to the Swadlands and deal with more Zalgath.
I really
You
don't
know,
like Zolgoth.
And
Those
those guys,
smelly things.
the very smelly things, those ones.
Well, certainly we can come on along and keep the spirits high. It shouldn't be too difficult to organize a boat to carry all of our things. I have space in the ledger for it.
Hey, and we can still put on some performances.
Most certainly.
There's bound to be some jobs.
And it's easier to travel in familiar comforts. Not to mention that it might make it easier for you to do your business if people know you as delightful entertainers.
This is true. I mean,
not to mention,
they'll think we're going to exist longer than if they think we're working for the Pathfinders.
If you come across another one of those racist ghosts, you can just send them my way.
We will not.
I hope too. He was really insistent on that point. He kept bringing it up. I must say, I've never met someone who's so
horrible.
I don't know if I would call it horrible, but he certainly was insufferable.
He never stopped complaining about
like he's
old fashioned.
And he never stopped saying, "My goodness, look at all these humans." And then, of course, the part where I had to send him away was when he started insulting one of our sideshow elements.
Yeah.
Which is to say that he started saying, "Oh my goodness, look at that human doing things that are not becoming of humans." Just, I honestly would almost consider not coming with you just because of the potential risk of having to deal with all of those. But on the other hand, we have been through so much, and from what I've heard, you've caused quite the ruckus at the Celestial Menagerie, which I think it might be best if we leave for a while to begin with. I doubt the town is interested in circus shows after the other one blew up.
Yeah, I don't think the Celestial Menagerie is going to be competition for us anymore.
No, I mean more from the perspective of the other circus turned out to have this death dragon and like a whole bunch of explosions, so people might not feel safe at a circus for a while.
Yeah. It's going to be headlines for a bit, and you probably don't want to be the other circus in a town where an evil circus exploded.
Excellent.
Don't worry, we're the good circus.
Well, I say, if you're okay with this, that I will organize that we will go over to the Swadlands. Carrick is a lovely town this time of year, after all. The fields of gold. They even grow rice there. I would go for a nice jelly donut. Wink.
Thank you, Brock.
I'm glad you picked up on that one.
It took me a brief moment, but
so that's one of my favorite bits.
It's the second best bit.
So good.
The best one is his drying pan.
Yeah.
The professor mutters something about how much food they're producing in Carrick. I wonder why Abaddon insists on pretending there's scarcity of food.
Well, if we do our job right, there probably won't be scarcity of food for a very long time.
If you happen to kill Aradin a second time on your quest, that'd be lovely. Because his priests are awful.
I'll do my best.
Actually,
Yeah.
Next time I see him, next time I see him, it's on site.
Aradin's like, wait, no, I'm just a little nerd.
Wait, I just like money.
No, not Abadar, Aradin.
The ghost.
The human god.
It's like, no, I didn't mean it. You should pat him on the head.
You filthy non-human.
I just want humans to feel cool for once after they've just been nerds their whole life. Well, unless you've got anything you want to do, we can push the fast forward button until you reach Carrick. Because not much exciting is going to happen on the way there. It's a reliable boat trip.
We
Yeah, I
can
don't think I've
we
done
can say
much.
we did like any shopping and whatever before we left, and then do that in the downtime between episodes.
I swing my hand whoosh,
Yeah.
as we take ourselves to the Swartlands. Don't worry, there's like a
Oof.
huge buffer between here and an actual combat scene or anything, because it is, after, as I mentioned, very nice there this time of year. It takes a couple of days. Like you don't just pack up a circus on a boat. It takes a week. It takes big time. Finding a boat, chartering the ship, paying the costs, financial transports. There's so much involved in this. There's also the animals, which you need to calm down, take care of. Oh boy. Who here feels
Also-
lucky?
Well, I'm the
I
fortune
never
teller,
felt
but I
lucky.
mean,
Because we're okay. I'll just roll the d20 then.
I can.
Okay.
You-
Okay.
Then we can blame you.
Because there could have been a chance you would have been on the boat with Solace Creek, and you'd have to endure him saying
Oh god.
for a couple of days. Luckily, it's a nice sound trip. The inner sea is not that terrible. It might be the Ion Stones doing that, although they mostly just make things greener. Eventually, the town of Carrick looms in the distance. It's the biggest settlement around the Swartlands, from what you know. It's not a terrible town. Now, if anyone here is a faithful of Abadar, please sit down and set yourself down comfortably. The people here have unionized.
Hell yeah.
Takes out a
Thank-
fan.
Finally.
As a result of the fact that things are getting more. I mean, things are still great compared to everywhere else in the world, but people have unionized under the premise that things are getting kind of bad. The game doesn't call it that, but I know what you're trying to say, Paizo. I know what you're saying. So people are, everyone's taking care of each other on a more industrial scale than just a community sense of goodness. And
Yeah,
when
I
you
mean,
were,
when you're the region that apparently Absalon owes their success to, you should probably consider some union actions.
Abadar fucking hates it, but all public attempts to get rid of it have bombed utterly because of the success of the organization. If you want to, I imagine that the captain is like a little grumpy about it because I could get so much more money before them. The Church of Abadar did loans, but now all they do is they yell at me. They say, "Don't buy from those union pricks." I'm like, okay, who am I supposed to buy from then? Who? You dumb. Ah! The point is, everyone around the Swordlands generally lives a comfortable life, except for recently, because as you're going to find out quickly, shit's gotten worse there over the years, especially as of recent. Carrick is a beautiful town. Not to say that it's made out of fancy white stone or any of that glossy stuff. It's just a really nice town. Like, imagine Amsterdam. Those nice narrow buildings, those beautiful facades, those massive windows.
I do love, if nothing else about Amsterdam, I love the facades.
It's beautiful. It's one of those lovely towns where you're like, you know what? I wouldn't mind living here. The streets are full of people. Even when you're far away, you see the lighthouse shining off in the distance. It's actually kind of nice because you arrive in the morning, so like a whole portion of the morning you see the lighthouse, and then you see it slowly go out, and you see the torch lights and the lamps all fade away as natural lighting takes over. It's a really beautiful view to have. And eventually your boat docks, and honestly, the worst part about traveling by boat is if you have a lot of stuff, you have to wait before they're all settled in, and that takes a while. It takes a while to tie the boat down, get all the cranes and the hooks and the thing set up, and get everything out of the holds. Ugh, so much waiting. During which the professor is luckily taking care of the boring conversations for you. But as you arrive on the dock itself, and you're there for a moment, there's someone waiting for you. He has a sign.
Please don't tell me it's who I think it is.
I showed you his art before because he's one hell of a dapper dude. He has a weird name. Ugh, he's not in here by his own name. Okay, cool. I have to find NPC number. Mr. Vandy, where are you? Is he in here? Huh. Vandy? Nope, I don't. Okay. I'll just have to copy paste the art. Looks a bit worse, but here you go. You see this gentleman standing there. A fine individual wearing quite lavishly dyed and manufactured clothing and everything.
It's purple.
Ooh.
Purple's fancy.
Oh, that is purple.
Aldrin?
He waves at you,
Fox.
and he has a sign with your circus's name on it, although he seems to be specifically asking for the heroes of the Circus of Wayward Wonders.
You should send the professor.
Also, the more the ship docks, the more, like, dock workers and sailors just converge around this place to offload all kinds of things.
They want the hero, we should send the professor.
He is a human of medium height and middling age, with thinning salt and pepper hair swept back from his brow. Oh, he has such bushy eyebrows, thick mutton chop sideburns, and a neatly trimmed moustache above smooth shaven chin. He wears somber, formal garb of a solicitor or an undertaker. There's a small flower pinned to his lapel in a sullen shade of purple. He keeps waving at you, and as the gangplank, or whatever they call it, is finally thrown down.
It is a gangplank.
I've heard it called something else sometimes, but you're free to do as you want. The town is your whatever.
Shall we
Yes,
say
need to
hello?
Speak to this dude.
He sees you coming down, and even as you just walk down, he perks up a bit because he knows who you are now, and he immediately walks on over and holds his hand out as if to shake it. Even if you're not offering, he's like, "Hey, shake my hand."
I'll shake his hand.
This guy has the firm handshake of like a really smooth businessman, of someone who's shaken a lot of hands in the day.
He's perfected the
oh.
technique.
Hello, my name is Upper Vandy. I am the master of the Carrick Grange and the mortician of the good people of Carrick and its surroundings. He shakes everyone's hands. Oh man, that's a handshake. Ruby, you have strong hands, but this man has mastered the art of doing it with skill and finesse. Ooh.
I've got resistance to bludgeoning, so like, it's okay.
Resistance to bludgeoning.
I'm an
I feel like
archer.
I owe
My
him
arms
money.
are as strong as trees.
He pushes so hard that your hand like squeezes out like a rubber stress toy. That's how that resistance manifests, we'll say.
Bella turned into Stretch Armstrong.
Now, I'm going to say this line only because I love how it's set. He mops, and once he knows who you are, he mops his brow with a handkerchief of the same color as his boutonniere. Look at this word. Look at this fucking word. Thank you, Pizer, for teaching me this word.
Thanks.
Boutonniere.
He has heard of your
What's a
coming.
boutonniere?
I don't know what it is, but look it up. It's great.
Yeah.
Look it up, please.
I'm
It's
trying to break it down with Latin in my head.
It's that thing where they put the rose in.
Ah.
Yeah.
Well,
I know what
Of
it
course,
is.
it's a French
flower.
word.
No, the flower is the boutonnet.
Holy shit.
Because
the
that
floral
goes on the
decoration.
lapel.
That's awesome. As I mentioned, I am the master of the Carrick Grange and a mortician, but I have a variety of things that I would like to discuss with the heroes of Escadar, who have done such fabulous deeds for the people. I would like for you to do the same for us, for the times have been a bit rough and everything, but please, I can take care of most of your needs and businesses while you are in Carrick as well.
Question.
Go
I'll
ahead.
let that.
How'd you learn what we did before we got here?
It's been a couple days.
One does not resist the
Yeah,
many
we
efforts of
were-
Abadar to overthrow the established order of the people without having a network of informants at the closest ports. It's a small investment, but one that is necessary for ensuring the continued... Well, as you can see, many people here work with a smile, don't they?
And also remember, it took us a couple days to unpack.
Yeah.
I had to pack up.
Magic
the
goes
circus
faster than
before
that,
getting on
as
the
does
boat.
anyone who... As does anyone who owns a Pegasus or anything. Like,
Oh, yeah,
Boats are
right? You
clumsy.
can, like, buy those things.
besides, I'm pretty sure they're within... Let me actually pull up the Pathfinder map, and let me just do a little off the head measuring. Because I do... Where is it? Where's my inner sea map? I don't even think that the island is that far from the other... Okay, so let's say we're dealing with like a couple of pixels or something. Map, please load and stop pushing me around. Okay, so one block, that's like 60 miles. Yeah, it's a stone's throw away, really. Most of those days are because you're on a big boat. And you don't want to go too quickly. So point is, Upper Vandy could have very reasonably heard of you. Don't forget, like, other ships came and went before you left because you had to unload and offload so much.
Do we have a location for our circus, by the way? Or...
He smiles and gives a polite chuckle. Ah, as the you do know what the Carrick Grange is, do you?
Nope.
Then allow me to introduce you. Let me just double check this before I say something absolutely stupid. I'm pretty sure I know what it is because I read ahead. Wink. But again, it pays to be careful. Oh my god, I hate this word search function. It takes a hot minute because I'm pretty sure that the Carrick Grange is just the term they use for the workers' union that covers the whole area. Here we go. The Carrick Grange was established a generation ago, but to unify the efforts of the growers and give them collective influence over resources in the greater politics of the Isle of Kortos. Effectively, it's what they call the Union.
Huh.
Effectively, if what this guy says is true, then to an extent he is probably more influential over this economy than Abadar's over most of his. So, if you know, he would gladly take care of all the necessary things to get you a delightful place to set up your little circus.
Nifty.
That would be nice.
And all you have to do is accept his dinner invitation.
Sure.
I like food.
He was laughing. He lets out another chuckle. I would have given you your arrangements, even if necessary. We could use some lovely festivals and cheering up during this lovely time of year. After all, as I mentioned, there are some things that need to be discussed that aren't quite as enjoyable as the weather. The professor comes on down below, finally, to oversee the offloading and onloading, and would like to know who this man is.
This guy is Upper Vandy. He's essentially the head of the, well, maybe not the head, but one of the leading personalities in the Carrick Grange.
Ah,
He is the mortician.
also the mortician, yes. Which means that his house is probably sometimes contains dead bodies.
Probably
Well,
thinks
who
the
doesn't?
business is good.
Oh, you'll find out soon enough. The professor and him probably have like a short conversation where they establish some basic, like, oh wow, that's a really low price, and he's like, yes, of course. Anything to ensure that the circus can do its business and everything. It's very obvious to you, at least, that Upper Vandy is sort of playing two-faced here. He's definitely being way more honest with you than with the professor. He's trying to hold something back, but he's open with you, so as far as you can tell. And the second that the professor's like, this sounds really nice. You guys seem to be really helping the circus out in more ways than one, huh? Opera returns to you, and as I mentioned, I would please be on time for the dinner arrangements. I assure you, it's going to be a lovely evening. I have several individuals in my employ. Well, not necessarily my employ. I've been helping them along the way, as it were. But we'll have a lovely dinner, and I can explain to you why I decided to spend some of my day waiting on a boat when I could have simply left an assistant here for such communications. Because I think you'll agree, there are some situations that require individuals that one would describe as a hero. Especially considering that the Pathfinder Society has refused to answer my call so far.
Yeah, well, not exactly reliable.
To put it more bluntly, I don't know what they were trying to say to me, but they were being very upset about the fact that they told me that, oh, if you're all working together, why don't you solve it together, or something like that. I always thought that the Pathfinder Society was, what was it? A gathering of heroes, of good people with good spirits. Let's say spirits in kind of the Grange, but
Well, they are a business at the end of the day.
It makes it strange that they would not accept, because I would have paid them a fair stipend for their duties. But let us not humour ourselves too much more. Let us enjoy the loveliness here. He offers you essentially like a small amount of money. Go ahead and enjoy yourself in the fine markets of this place. I think you will be able to fill your day before the dinner arrangements. Oh, and he writes you a little itty-bitty map that tells you where you can find his home. I doubt you can miss my home. It is not all that more plushly arranged than the others here, but It'll certainly catch your eye in its own way. He takes his leave because, unless you have something important to ask, because again, he does run an important part of this area.
I think I'm good.
You're certain. I would hate to see you confused the dinner party asking me simple questions that could have been answered way ahead of time.
Well, I guess we'll figure out if our questions are simple when that time comes.
Excellent. I hope that your stay here is most delightful. And he takes his leave with a polite bow. Click clack goes his walking stick.
I bow in return as he leaves because that's courteous.
You are left standing on the docks. There's probably a momentary scare as some of the more eccentric of your acts happens to offload off the boat, as it were.
Including one
Don't worry, he's friendly.
big boy.
He's mostly friendly.
Do you guys trust him?
You and the professor jinx each other as you say that.
I mean, already I'm getting bad vibes from Mr. Upper Vandy, but I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Well, you have the city to yourself. You can take a look around, enjoy some of the sights if you want to. Or, as always, you can just tell me, let's just get to business, and rub your hands together with a big money-eating grin.
And we could ask Desna her opinion on Upper Vandy.
Whose opinion?
Desna. Or rather, the cards that I hold at
Alright.
our tarot.
Alright.
Give it a go.
Are you using a particular spell or something, or like what are you doing? Or are you using fortune teller? Like what are you going with?
Just fortune teller or performance. Either way, I'm just kind of winging it as fortune tellers do. But like I believe in it. So.
If you want to, I can also pull out my own tarot decks that I never ever use and pull from those.
Yeah, I'll let you do it as the GM to give us a general idea.
I bought those for the fucking Strat game, but I forgot to use them like an idiot.
Dumb.
Okay, which one do you want? Do you want the actual tarot deck, or do you want the cool animal deck I got?
Ooh, aminals.
Yeah, it's in a cool iridescent case.
Maybe just...
But hey, okay, cool. We'll go for tarot. Oh, and there goes my. Well, luckily that was just like the case for. You know those Joy-Con cases for the Switch and everything? You used to make a Pro Controller out of it on the fly. Anyway, let's pull them out. Man, these things cost me some money, but they are some fucking awesome boxes. They come with a little book on how to read them, too. They cost money, but they're worth it. I love them. I mean, god damn it. What a bad time to trim my nails.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it takes a bit to get it out. Alright. Have I shuffled this deck? I have no idea. Probably. No, I have. Oh, yeah, I have. Okay, this deck is shuffled. Let me just reshuffle it because I saw some of the cards at the top. All right. All right. All right, there we go. So, what are you doing? Are you going to draw multiple cards? Or are you just going to draw one to get a vibe check?
Yeah, I'm just going to get a vibe check on Upper Vandy.
You draw the Hermit. Let's see what that means.
Okay.
What I like about this box is that it has all those ribbons that make it easier to pull things out. Let's see. Where is the Hermit in this book? Oh, man. Let's see. Oh, gosh. I don't know how to read any of this. The Major Arcana, is it that one? Probably, because it's got an IX on it.
Yeah.
Hanged Man, the Lovers. Oh, yeah, you can tell because it's not one of the Cups or so cards. Justice. Oh, that's cute. It's two cats. The Hermit. I wish I could show you a picture, but it's of a turtle, and he's in a shell, and he's looking at you, and there's like a little candle on top of him. It's cute. I'll try to take a picture later. Solitude, or meditation. The idea of being a hermit is not supported in our society, but in the realm of tarot, hermits are highly celebrated and valued creatures. The meditation, solitude, and stillness, they bring wisdom to all. When this card appears, it's time to step back from day-to-day life and focus on your inner realm. Become more self-aware. If you are intrigued by meditation, start now. Spend time by yourself. Your inner fire is ready to be lit. It will shine for all to see. So interpret that however you like. It's a fucking card, after all.
Yeah.
If you roll fortune teller, I'll give you an answer that you can understand. If you don't feel like you're the kind of person that could interpret tarot cards that well.
Sure.
All right. You're quite certain that this card can mean one of two major things. One, you just stop being suspicious little brats, or he's hiding something. The Hermit referring, of course, to the fact that Upper Vandy is is alone and isolated in the troubles that bother him, and that he wishes no longer to be on his own, which is kind of what he asked you to. So he might be genuine.
Yeah. So I mean, Desna agrees. So I think it's not going to be an issue for now.
Since
Unless
Fuyu
we
hasn't said anything and
get
not gotten
both.
too involved so far, can you roll me a perception check?
Sure. I will now roll perception, which I am a master in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Coming
asking. Oh gosh.
God
Roll
damn
the
it.
2.
Ruby is also a master in perception, so they can also roll me if they want.
I'm
Okay.
also trying to figure something out real quick, Safi.
What is it?
So I took the feat Eldritch Archer basic spellcasting.
Yes.
How does that work for what I get out of it? Like,
What it means is that okay, listen, I don't know this too well because it's a really confusing thing. The way it works is you get one slot of like all the levels of the basic, which I think is first, second, and third. You also get
Yeah.
a spell for each of those.
okay, so I get one spell for each.
I think you can heighten them freely. I don't care. Just go with it.
And
yeah.
What about cantrips?
Cantrips.
Instead, I usually get cantrips.
I think
I
you
think
already get cantrips. Basic spellcasting is outside of the cantrip. Cantrips you usually get from dedication feat and stuff.
Yeah, usually it's like 1 or 2.
Yeah, because I have one.
Basic spellcasting does not give you more cantrips. It just gives you a couple of fun
Okay.
spells to go around.
I think
All right, so
there's
I
like
have more
Arcane
spells.
Breath or something is a feat you can get that gives you more slots.
So, as this conversation went on, Fuyu, you're pretty sure you see something about him that's a little off, but it's Ruby who confirms your suspicions when she points out that he looked a little, bags under the eyes. He obviously like put some sort of makeup or cream over it, but he definitely looked like he's not had some good sleep as of late.
Hmm.
Anyway,
That's something to keep in mind for future. That could mean a lot of things.
don't forget, and this is something that a lot of people tend to forget, and I'm going to remind you of it. You can always do this fun thing called scour for rumors to find exciting adventuring clues or places to go, etc. So, if you want to enter a dinner party informed or with a nice present, there's plenty of things to do. Including maybe just
Yeah.
advertise your circus. There's a lot of things you can do, really. Ask about where places are. Maybe you can even learn where to go.
I think
Yeah.
getting a lay of the land, getting a present, and just kind of figuring out things that are possibly going on in town so we have something to ask and talk about,
Delightful.
and that kind of thing.
All right. What kind of present would you get him? Like, just give me like a brief sort of like direction you're going to take this gift. What do you think he would appreciate?
I would have given him a severed dragon head, but it melted.
Yeah. I don't know how many people would appreciate a severed
Probably
dragon
a
head.
lot of people.
I mean, unless
This
you're...
guy
Yeah.
seems to like heroes and also dead bodies. So
Yeah, he would like a dragon head on that, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
All right.
let's not actually get him a severed dragon head. Probably. What do you get a very important businessman? Usually, some kind of alcohol is a pretty solid choice. Like some fancy wine.
I wonder if we have any like foreign alcohol at our circus.
Yeah, we probably keep some
Yeah,
stuff with
since
us
we're
for
travelers.
entertaining
Huh?
local people.
You take
I'd
a...
assume like,
Mhm.
yeah, we probably got something.
Let me
Hmm?
pull up an old name you may have forgotten because they died at the beginning of this adventure. The inciting incident, one may call it. But I forgot the name for just a moment. Where's your... No. Where's your name? Lady
Mr.
Corpse.
Ringmaster.
Oh, yeah, his full name is Professor Zarlian Kiosophus. Oof. Those Pathfinder names always get me.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's
where
always
is this?
2 syllables more than you expect.
Where is the Myron? There we go. Mayan Thunder Stendhal. Known for her powerful voice. She was a collector of strange alcohol, so you could probably find something there that's probably better for the fireplace as a set piece than something you want to drink on the regular. It's a real adventurous gift, you might
True.
say.
Yeah. Certainly. something exotic
Oh, so
and
you were
pointless.
planning to do something around town, was it?
Yeah, just kind of, you know, see what's
Talk.
going on in town. Yeah.
Excellent. Everyone can roll me some diplomacy to see if you pick up on some rumors. One thing you
Oh,
do pick
God.
up on, however, is that this is a delightfully lively town. Oh God. Okay, yeah, Alora.
Hmm?
Oh, yeah, cool.
I'm gonna
Hobnobber.
roll for shits. There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
Nah, that's fine. Making our way around town, you find out a few delightful things. First, the mood is mixed. Generally speaking, people's day-to-day lives seem to be fine. Everyone at their little stalls tries to pawn you as much as they can, but at the same time, there's this underlying current. Here we go. Alora, you pick up on two interesting factoids.
Yeah.
First off, you find what would it be called? Like, let's say a baker. A baker would know about this stuff. You find a delightful baker who's selling those freshly baked breads. Ooh, such a delightful smell and such a great soft taste and crunchy outer shell.
Hot breads.
I'm drooling. Just thinking about bread. They tell you that things haven't been as good around the Swartlands over the last few seasons. Weather's not been as gentle and the harvest not as good. Something's up for sure. But you know what happens when you ask a priest? They give you a scowl and they get, oh yes, there's something going on, and they quietly turn it away again. Don't believe us, I tell you. Don't believe us. Then, Alora, you learn something else, and I'm going to give you this one because I know you'll love it. You come across a delightful merchant of... I mean, hey, if you're looking for some glass beads, this guy's got all of them. Maybe you could like start a marbles game with all these. And there's a Shuni, you know, one of those fine dog people in Casterly. He sings to the dead. He digs up their graves. He digs the graves too, but as it's off, he sings for them too. Can you imagine? And then the ghosts wake up and they stop dancing with him. Can you imagine? Ha! That's in Casterly, by the way. All the way to the south. If you happen to go that way, since you look like the traveling sorts, maybe take a look and tell me if it's true.
We must eventually see this dog who talks to the dead and dances with them.
That actually concerns me a little bit that it happens.
Ruby, you actually get something too. But mostly because you're a big, strong fighting person, and you look like you might be able to help with some problems.
Yeah, I'll probably stand out in a crowd.
You, the guy you're looking at, is not a merchant of any kind. It's just some fella in rags pulling a cart around. You one of those mercenary types? Listen, I got family out by Stump and Broom, near the old forest, near the old forest tower too. It ain't fate, but there's something out there. Something terrible. I haven't seen, of course, but my family's talking about how there's something moving in there. I don't know if you happen to pass by, could you at least take a look for him, please?
No promises I'm heading out that direction, but if I am, I'll certainly take a look.
Thinking about it, he's mentioning a tower. You're looking for towers, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, you said you haven't been out there. I was going to ask.
I mean, his family lives there. He might have been there, actually. Not recently
You know
enough to know what's going on, at least.
Have you seen the tower before, at least? Anything about it?
Oh, yeah, the old forest tower. It's got that big fancy glowing orb on it, you know?
Ah.
Yep, that's the right direction.
So those towers are said to bring the life and the lust of this life all together, and it's quite common for people to bring offerings and sacrifices to the not human sacrifice, but we should think of some. But people bring their offerings there once a year for a good harvest. But there's something there now, so they told me they don't want to go there anymore. And it ain't none of those Fae. No, the Fae are just a little tricksy. These things are like they say it smells of what's it called?
Garlic.
Yeah, garlic and onion.
Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah, this sounds familiar.
Yeah, well,
listen, I'm sorry to bother you. It's just a strange one, but you look like the kind of person who could, you know.
Yeah, we have experience in dealing with towers full of very stinky creatures. we'll definitely take a look at it. Thank you for the heads up.
Yeah. Oh. So it's only polite that I give you something. And he hands you a potato.
Oh my god, thank
Yeah.
you. I bite the
I'm actually kinda
potato.
hungry.
If you actually bite into the potato, it's actually a really nice potato, even raw.
Yeah.
It's one of those. It's not quite a sweet potato, but it is like it's got that same energy bread has, where it's like, that's just nice.
That's some good potato.
This man, however, is a little flabbergasted. You're just biting into a raw potato, but hey, if you're enjoying it,
Listen, I lived a long time.
I mean,
on
I
the road.
think Ruby could bake the potato as she bites it.
I'm not that hot. Not like 200 degrees.
finally Fuyu picks up on some rumors as well.
Yay.
So, this is as you're like shopping, and some dude like bumps up to you. You're taking a look at this fine stall, which is selling. Apparently, listen. You're pretty sure there's just lettuce. There's just lettuce, right? But this guy's selling like 5 different lettuces.
Wow.
Is that just cauliflower? The point is, he's got a lot, and you're like momentarily like, what is going on with this? Oh, but hey, you what? You like a fox or something?
Right now, yes.
Oh, that reminds me of the old days. Back when there were a couple of foxes out here. People walking around the little legs. Just like me. He just kicks his feet around a bit.
There were other foxes around here.
Oh, they were traveled folk, They played the little flutes going boop, 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 boop. They were a jolly bunch. I was back when I lived out Casterly. Hey, if you go by Casterly, you might want to play that flute a little bit, because I heard that the life root stone, so it's a big old, one of those big towers with the dots at top. The Casterly. So the statues are coming alive again, just like in the old days. I heard legends of the statues moving around and kicking people's butts. Get-
Great. So now I have to play this thing. Okay, well, should be interesting.
Before you light on the resume.
I haven't played this thing in years.
No, I mean, I don't know if the flute's gonna help you or anything, but you just be careful out there, right?
We'll be careful.
This guy buys like one of each lettuce, and then he plops a sliced up bread, and he just goes crunch.
This man terrifies me.
That's great, right? I mean, he starts explaining to you terms you do not understand because your palate cannot comprehend most forms of vegetable that well. But Ruby and Elora might be able to explain to you at some point in the future why this man is so ecstatic about his many lettuces.
Let us sigh.
Exactly. He's a nice plump fellow, halfling, and he just jollily walks off eating the crunchiest meal you've ever seen.
He sounded like a jolly halfling.
I'll be back in 1 second.
It's fine.
Okay.
Also, while we're getting our shopping done and while we're waiting for Dizzer, I was going to
Nice.
get some additional arrow types to, help with getting around certain
Garrick
things
is
we
a
can't
great
easily.
place to shop for that, because as of the fact that apparently there's some bad stuff going on, weapon merchants have made their home here. And naturally,
Yeah.
there's obviously people who are like, bio arrows, fresh arrows here, spell strike arrows, perfect for those spellcasters among you with those dreams of shooting with magic. I've got vine arrows, arrows that turn into snakes. Can you imagine it's snakes? They'll be too busy pulling the snakes out of their hair to fight you further.
Yeah, okay. Spell strike arrows could be good.
Nah, I'm just put out a little show for you. You can find pretty much anything you're looking for.
Okay, and how much money do we have in that loot bag?
3,000 something.
Yeah, you got 3,000 in please go save the world money.
Well, that is our job.
I mean, yeah, you were literally given a letter that made it your job. Ain't that something fresh?
Archive Nethys, please load.
You can always load the compendium and use some filters.
Good.
Go to equipment, and then you go to weapon traits. Is there a trait for ammunition? No. Well, that's shit. There's always consumable, though. Oh, you can set consumable type to ammunition, and then it should just show you ammo. And they sort it by level, and then you got a good approximate. Storm arrow.
Oh, you know, one is a really cool one.
What is?
I
can make exploding arrows too.
Star Shot.
Star Shot arrow. Let's see. Oh,
Star Shot arrow greater is ridiculous sounding.
The metal of this arrow comes from the start of the adventure too close to Galarian was shot down by a moonlit archer. You have no range penalties against any targets you can personally detect. There must be line effect between you. This is
you also hit instantly.
There we go. The greater Star Shot. Okay. You can fire at any creature you can detect regardless of range. Arrow travels instantly, hitting as soon as you fire the arrow. This
Yeah, I pull back. I look at a dot on the horizon. I let go, and the guy falls over.
You just watch it crumple to the ground. Oh my fucking god, a Garrote Bolt.
Yeah, now I'm actually in a place where I can see this stuff. I can start getting the good ones.
Okay, apparently my mic unplugged.
Oh no.
Came back.
No.
Oh no.
It's working now, don't worry. I fixed it.
It's fine. I fixed it.
Would Spell Strike ammo even help me, since I can just do that anyway?
I mean, I think it costs less actions to use.
I think you can charge Spell Strike action ahead of time, yes. That's like the side benefit, basically. Let's see. I need to look up something specific because I forgot their names. How could
yeah, so it can hold one.
The Martins. There we go. Oh, they're not even in there.
A few of those.
Garlic.
And I can charge them over the next few days. 280.
I'm gonna put these full of spells. Oh my god, look at that dog. He does not like the cabbage. What are you talking about?
Attack. Kill.
Crunch. Well, after a nice period of time, it's time for dinner. Oh, what a lovely town that's been. Everyone is so friendly. It's this real sense of camaraderie. When some guy drunkenly starts swinging his fist, they don't turn to a bar brawl. They just drag him outside and help him cool down a bit. For the most part, the guard just seems to be leaning on their spears. That's some real country bumpkin life. Well, welcome to the Vandy house. It's a lovely house. Now, as mentioned, his house is a bit fancier than most people, but it's, this home's obviously like obvious wealth constructed. It's made of red brick with white granite accents. Wooden shingles cover the roof between 3 tall brick chimneys. One of those is probably for cremations. At the roof's peak is a weather vane. It's shaped like a cockatrice.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of crushed gravel that leads around the place. Nicely kept garden. Wide stairs bring you past stately inset windows. The base of the stairs flanked by 2 decorative stone earth from which grow lovely small plants. And the stone font set into the wall next to the front doors. Wash your hands. There's also like a bell. You can go ding ding ding. In addition, most of you would recognize that there are 3 engraved symbols next to the bell pull. They are of Abadar, Eredin, and Pharasma. God of the dead, the god of money, and the god of I'm dead too.
That makes sense.
In addition, you can peek in through these windows and see some sort of foyer, or some sort of front room. People can sit. The other ones, however, have drawn curtains, making it a bit harder to really see what's inside. Although you think you see some sort of, well, we'll see it soon enough. What do you do? Standing outside of a building. You invite her for dinner. It's gonna be dark.
Oh,
we can do this next time if you want.
We can just head on in.
Okay.
I was just getting my arrows put into my inventory.
Garlic. Heal yourself up, because it's been a few days.
Oh yeah. I can probably refill everything.
Also, my game is still paused.
Same here.
That fix it?
Yeah, now I can move.
Probably just move forward and knock on the door. We were invited.
Well, there's a bell.
Oh.
We ring the bell.
Ding-a-ling-a-ling, ding-a-ling-a-ling. Oh gosh, what's going on? There we go.
Oh, I just took some of the gold out of the
Go
loot
nuts.
bag so I could buy my arrows.
I just have some issues with not being able to scroll from time to time. I don't know why that is. Get out of here with your flat elements about loot. The door swings open. A gentleman has grabbed the doorknobs of both doors and swings them inward. He takes a bow along with it, as if it is perfectly rehearsed. The man in front of you is obviously Opera Vendi. Ah, how lovely of you to come. Come on in, come on in. Dinner's cooking, as you may easily smell. And indeed, you smell a variety of smells and flavors.
Oh man.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing you'll notice walking in
Come along. Okay.
is that there's the viewing parlor to your left and the foyer front room to your right. If you have needs for the downstairs privy, the door in the back over to your right. That'd be that door. It's the first door on the left. Don't go down the hall to the left. Go to the door to the left. If you require any bathroom visits. Otherwise, I graciously welcome you to my abode.
Well, thank you for inviting us.
Also,
Yeah.
I've been very confused about whether or not this guy has a wife or not, because the writing does not address them in any meaningful capacity, and I think he lives alone. It's just that I get them mixed up with the Martins. He mentions that indeed there are 2 other people in the house. They are individuals that are sort of under his care, you might say. Where did my phone go? I heard it
Oh,
buzz,
no.
but I can't see it.
I
Well-
stole it. It's mine now.
Thanks, Dizzy. Oh, it's over there. Why did I hear a buzz from all the way? As mentioned, he welcomes you. It's all nice. He tells you about the Martins. It's, let me see what the exact arrangement is. I think it's just, the usual. They're an old couple. Yeah, they're an old couple who just want to have a little fun with an old man. They help him clean and cook a bit so he can focus on his work and business because he runs a parlor and the whole organization. So keeps it nice and friendly. If you would like to say hello to the Martins, they're in the back. But as I mentioned, how about we let the dinner happen first, and then we will discuss business. It's easier to talk on a full stomach, isn't it?
I mean,
So that's
yeah,
Do me
I
nice.
agree.
Oh, one small thing. You notice that there's a coffin in the viewing parlor. I may need to excuse myself during the dinner to attend to certain individuals who are partaking in the funerary rites of a recently deceased individual.
Oh,
Are we interrupting?
No. This is... I am more than used to this particular set of circumstances. Do not worry.
you sound busy.
No. As I mentioned, this is entirely usual for my arrangements. I can't just tell people not to look at the body. They pay me, and they are allowed to say their final rites when it comes right for them. Not to mention that the viewing parlor and the dining hall are technically connected, so I can easily take care of business without huge interruptions. I just have to say hello, let them in and out, and everything. It's no concern, please. Otherwise, I would never have time to receive visitors.
Fair point, actually. Yeah. Saying how many people die.
People do die a lot.
People die when they are killed too. Did you know?
Wait, what? Nobody told me this. God, what I'm doing is so dangerous.
That's what I've been doing to people.
I thought I was just making them go to sleep.
Did you check?
Oh no. My worldview.
Soon enough, you hear the whole dinner's ready. And indeed, a lovely old couple. One of them is a half elf, the other is a half orc. Half and half, baby.
Yeah.
The 2 of them
They
bring
make-
over a variety of delightful. Let me just read it out for you. Soon, laid out across the table, is an excellent aromatic meal of goose roasted in raspberry sauce, artichokes, turnip, barley stew, collard greens, and goat cheese. A warm black bread served with fresh butter, selection of local wines, and a small cask of ale, and a cooling
Sadly,
pie.
you had me goat cheese.
A cooling pie of custard and lemons. And there's so much of it.
Where?
Ah.
Big dinners.
As mentioned, the evening goes on mostly without too much event. There are some times where he needs to excuse himself and allow some individuals in and give his condolences and everything. But it's surprising how he steps through that door and he's immediately just flat-faced and then comes back in. It's like, hey! Almost seconds later. The door is thick enough that you're pretty sure it's soundproofed for this purpose. This man thinks of everything.
Business today is murder.
He would never say that.
Eh?
No, no.
I mean, maybe it wasn't murder. Maybe it was old age.
Ah,
I don't know.
yes. He also talks a bit of business, although he'd mostly discuss that with the professor. He gives you some local contacts you can get to about, well, whatever you're looking for. If you want to talk to a local guard or to someone who writes at the Gazetteer, if you're looking for someone who can help you fix things, he basically gives you pretty much everything you want. He tells you about the 4 major settlements in the area. There's Carrick, there's Mountain Cleave, there's Castellane, and there's Turpin Row. He effectively just reveals the entire area map for you with all the information that he's spouting at you.
So he's the tower we had to climb to open up this video game map.
Yeah, pretty much. This thing does not fuck around. Here's a guy. He knows everything. He also knows of a Thor Tower, but that's like a bit further away, located near Willowside, aka that's the next book. Please don't go there.
Wink.
It's way above your level. Don't go yet.
He also mentions what you've already heard, namely that the Svartfolk usually go to these. That's what people here call themselves. They call themselves Svartfolk, which every time I read, I'm like, wait, what is? Oh yeah. They leave offerings at these towers for Eridan, in his memory and for his bounty, as he is the reason that these things are here and everything's so green. Although it's fallen out of favor in recent years, as harvests have gotten worse. And also, there's the rumors of things happening near these towers that are terrible. But eventually, the conversation turns from just idle chats and banter of like, oh, where have you been? What adventures have you had? Who have you fought? Who's this strange cat you talk about so much? Was she purple? Purple?
Mm.
Excuse
No,
me. Excuse me, did you just talk about a man who was on fire? Yeah, he has that strong charisma of someone who knows how to keep a conversation going and you just can't stop talking. However, at a certain point,
I must really enjoy the talk of how easily Fuyu and Ruby can dispatch people.
On a good day.
Which is most days for this team.
once your bellies are nice and full and you've had enough to eat, the mood at the table palpably dampens as Vandy takes a moment to swallow a bite of food while apparently lost in thought. His face marked with the hidden lines of worry and exhaustion. The bags under his eyes have never been more visible. You have been fine company, and I am quite glad that you have brought the circus to the Carrick Grange, but I'm certain that by now you have picked up that there is a little more afoot, and I have been candid enough to tell you ahead of time anyway. Things have been hard around here as of late. We try to keep things going, but the weather has been awful, and judging by what you've said, Abbottson has suffered a similar fate. With droughts and bad weather, the crops aren't growing like they used to, and it's... I have suspicions and feelings and fears that... Well, there's not just the environment in general, it's also... Well, personally, I'm suffering it. I try to hide it, but I don't know if I can be here for these people in these dire times if... Are you familiar with hauntings?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, we've met a ghost.
I think I'm being haunted. Whatever is haunting me, I think it's the reason that you might have heard of the murders that have been taking place around here. Other than the people who go missing going to the towers, there's been a variety of. I think it's related to me. I don't know what to do anymore. Your circus will be a lovely distraction, but I'm at the brink of I don't know what to do. I can't be a leader to these people if I'm the cause of this. Listen, I've heard of what you've done, and I know that ghost hunting doesn't sound in your repertoire, but the local church has been shrugging me off at every opportunity. I'm quite certain that Abadar has been muscling some of the local priests of Erastol to, well, follow his lead and do what he says. After all, the Church of Abaddon provides most of them with their repairs and everything, and if I go away, then they might be able to muscle someone they like more into the Grange's leadership. So I can't get any help from them. Please. This whole land needs a hero to take some sort of action more than we ourselves can take. And I know that you are mere circus performers and that you have come from humble beginnings, but I don't know who to turn to. The society has rebuffed me at every opportunity. The priests don't want to help me with anything. And even the Martins, they feel distant. I feel distant. And that's kind of where he ends his thing, so you can pick up where you want, however you like.
I mean,
Well, Fuyu looks at the other two. I think we've got another job to handle.
also
We barely are circus performers at this point, right?
at the mention of hauntings, I'm just gonna like Spidey sense. Beep beep bing.
Well, first, you're not at the best part is to ask for further details, so let's go with that first.
Yeah.
Makes a bit more sense. It gives you the gist. For the last 14 months, he's been experiencing what he believes to be vivid hauntings or nightmares. He's not sure which it is. The death of the town people have occurred almost immediately the day after he has the worst nightmares. They always start the same. He awakens late at night, or, well, he believes he awakens, and he finds a hollowed-eyed young girl standing in the doorway of his bedroom. She wears a funerary shroud, although he doesn't recognize her as anyone that he's ever buried. She stands there for a moment and leaves the bedroom, disappearing from sight. On the first few occasions, he was too frightened to follow her. But then, later, he was like, I gotta find this out. When he did, she went down to the viewing parlor, where she stands behind the empty catafalque. Catafalque is what they put the coffin on. That's what it's called.
Yep.
Oh.
Now I know another word. I love this. Thank you, Paizo, for teaching me these exotic words.
Wow.
It's also spelt.
I learned.
It's also spelt in a delightfully French way.
So
And
you
she-
learned 2 French-based words today.
She points at the empty catafalque when she shows up, when she leads him downstairs, and he always wakes up standing in front of it in the viewing parlor, drenched in cold sweat. She's gone. The girl's gone, and it's unclear if he sleepwalked or not. And he, as you can imagine, if then the next day a dead body shows up, it's been too much for it to. It's a pattern. It has to be something at this point. It can't just be a coinkydink, or maybe he's developing superpowers. Who knows? The problem is
Yeah,
that
once is a coincidence. More than once is suspicious.
the deceased are also of all ages and walks of life. Some are ill, some are old, some are young, some are healthy. They've all died unexpectedly in their sleep. There's been no evidence of foul play. There's no knives or poison or anything. So, while he's never mentioned any of this, people have started to talk, and he feels responsible. Like he's being haunted. This thing might be taunting him, or it might be some sort of demonic, devilish temptation, or maybe it's the ghost of someone that he failed earlier in life that has come to haunt him. Also, while he has gone to priests about this, he doesn't want to make too much of a fuss about it, because again, he needs to be there for his people right now. It's lean times. He can't just drop this. If he goes away, economic collapse might happen, and then, Abadar comes in, and they will probably want to take revenge. They like to pretend that they're above that shit, but he knows better. They will take the chance to bring everything back to zero and beyond if they can. Especially in these lean times.
So
So
this
we
little
need some
girl doesn't look familiar to you, or is it hard to tell?
I don't recognize her now.
And
How frequently has this happened?
nightly, I think.
It's been like a couple of murders every month or so. It's 14
A
months.
couple times a month.
It's frequent enough to be a very noticeable thing.
And what kind of cause of death have the murders been? Like, how can you tell that they're murders?
The first was... Who was it again? I think the first person to... let me see, I need to pull up his name. He's actually got a thing on the map, which I will reveal now since you discovered this information. Okay, no, it's chapter 2 that this is in, right? Old Kuru. There was an old man called Kuro who lived by himself near Matt and Cleve, and he died in his sleep, and people thought it was a heart attack. He doesn't know what's with. Let me actually look up a detail because I have the full information of the haunting here, and I need to make sure that the information is correct, or I will give you something incorrect, and you'll be like, "GM, you lied to us," and I'll be like, "Whoopsie snickerdoodles."
No,
Sorry,
we're gonna have to put you in prison.
No, I don't want to go to sleep prison. Okay. Drained. They were physically drained. Like the drained condition is, condition constitution damage. They were weak and frail and always tired and exhausted. Like their physical body was just evaporating underneath them. Alora.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make you roll religion or occultism. You can roll me both, actually. Since you are, you have spiritual sense and you're like a fortune teller and everything. This is your home field advantage.
Nice.
Good news.
Hey.
This isn't a ghost. You aren't picking up. You are not picking up any like ghost traces, but there is something happening on the ethereal plane. Something has been moving around the ethereal plane around here, but it's not a ghost. You don't pick up the bad vibes, the negative moods, the cold, the chills, the anything. Additionally, this doesn't feel like a ghost's MO. This is not how ghosts work. Sure, they can go into your dreams to haunt you, but they don't then kill someone at the other side of fucking town. Old Kuru sounds like he's like miles away from here. That's not how ghosts work. Maybe a prophetic ghost might be like that, but a prophetic ghost wouldn't, they try to be more clear. They try to communicate. They try to help you a bit, They don't just yell at you, or they either bully you into feeling like shit, or they try to help you. They don't just stand there idly being vague about things. Or, he's developing superpowers, who knows. Can you also roll me religion? If you roll a 20, I'm going to shit myself.
Religion.
Come on.
Because I'll just give you the
Come
answer.
on, big money.
I'll just give you the
Will
answer.
this be my thing? Oh.
Unfortunately,
Damn.
I don't just give you the answer, but that's fair enough, because that makes it more interesting. Let's see. It was a 25. Oh, no, no, not unique. I need the... Okay, no, not good enough.
I could hero point it to see if I get a better roll.
Okay, you're free to try. You might as well. There's not that much happening this session anyway.
Alright,
Anyone else got religion? Since, apparently it's something else.
Nope.
Fair enough.
Oh, I thought for a minute
32?
you got a natural 20 on it.
Holy shit,
I thought I
32.
did too.
Oh, Jesus Christ, that's actually...
17 is meaty.
You needed a 31 to figure this out.
Oh.
Okay, so... I'm going to ask you this, because maybe one of you can figure this out on your own. They die in their sleep. They get worse every day. They slowly wither away, but they die in their sleep. And there's a lot of ethereal plane tampering.
It's a face spider.
This sounds like a fiend, but what kind of fiend would that be? You've met one. You've met 3, in fact.
The frickin' whatchamacallit, the awful guys. Nabazu.
No,
Well,
Nabazu don't work like they don't do anything with dreams.
I'm just trying to think of the name.
Now, you as characters have never met any, but you as players have met 3 one time.
What the hell are they called? My brain keeps coming up with Abacandaloo, and I know that's not the right one.
Those don't like mirrors.
Those are the jobbers. Those are the...
We're on to like dream specters. Those are outsiders.
Simpler. Think Bestiario 1 core book stuff.
I can't think of like fiend names right now. So.
Shadows?
Okay, they are fiends, but you might call them fae because of the implications. Although that might not help you. Come
Actually?
on. No.
I'm
I
not
know.
involved in this.
Really? None of you wanna? None of you can figure this out? Really?
I like.
I mean, my...
You sure you don't want this
What?
delicious dream pie?
They're not whites. Those
It's
are
a
something
hag.
Oh, the hag.
It's a night hag. Night
Oh,
hags
no.
can do dream stuff, and night hags when they get into
I
your
didn't even know they
dreams-
were fiends.
Yeah, they're fiends. Sorry. Like I said,
Yeah,
you
I
might, you
legitimately
probably
didn't
think they're
know these
fae.
Means-
Yeah, my brain immediately went to demons after you said fiends.
The point is, this is probably just a night hag, because That's what night hags do. That being said, there's a part of your brain that doesn't make sense of this. Why is it?
Why?
Yeah, why? If a dream hag just wants to kill people, definitely doing that. But why bother this poor man about anything?
Yeah, she'd be alerting him too much.
Unless
'Cause
there's
he's
a
not the target.
second party in this who's trying to warn you.
Mr. Vandy, is there a viewing going on in there right now for the
Oh, wait.
caskets?
Excuse me, I forgot. You rolled good in occultism, and this item turns out to be part of the occult tradition. You know, we'll transfer that 20. We'll transfer that 20.
We got that rollover.
Oh, you can actually also roll society for hags. How funny. Because they're also humanoid, that's why. Gotcha.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's why I didn't think they were fiends.
So, you know that they have this thing called heartstones, you know?
Hmm.
So,
Oh, no.
that might be something you might want to be looking for. Okay, someone wanted to ask a question, by the way?
Yeah, I was asking if there's possibly if the area with the French word thing is currently available, or if there's someone in there.
It's empty right now.
I think we should go take a look, because if it keeps going there, that means something's up.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
ghosts and
definitely worth
hauntings and
investigating.
Stuff like this, they like to go there,
You head on over.
and they have a purpose.
You take a look around the room and don't see anything immediately suspicious. I mean, you know, it's kept clean and everything, so any obvious
Also-
clues are cleaned up over time.
As soon as we leave, Peppy's finishing up.
Peppy's probably like eating a
After
banana
fin-
that's on like a fake banana. Like trying to eat it.
I have put some of the food in a little baggie when he wasn't looking to get the garlic on the way out.
So, Fuyu's gonna get in there and be like, okay, so the girl comes like, where? Can you tell me exactly what you see?
Okay. He gets out, goes around the corner, and he just I walk here, and then walk here, and then she's standing. At first, she was standing in front of the catafalque. Then she was standing to the side, and pointing at it, and now that you mention it, she was doing something a little different every time. But
Can we see
I'm-
under it, or is it attached to the floor?
the catafalque is just a block on the ground.
But
Hmm.
can I check on the edges and seams of it, maybe using thievery to see if something's hidden?
Taking a look at the catafalque, it's about as heavy as it should be, and you don't find anything with it. Besides, why would the witch be pointing something out to him?
I don't know, but there's gotta be some reason it's doing this too.
I've got a hunch. Fuyu, can you help me lift it and move it?
My arms are trees.
There's
I'm
also a
almost
coffin on top, but you can probably like shift it over. There's nothing under it.
Do you have a basement?
I do have a base. I have a basement and an outhouse where I do my embalming. I don't want the embalming fluids anywhere near my building, and there is
Oh,
indeed
so
a
what-
basement.
So it wouldn't be below this.
The basement is over there next to the stairway is the basement, not under this. No.
Okay.
Mind if I ask, what is your running theory right now?
Well, we believe that there's probably. Fuyu just looks at Alora for a moment. I think she said a night hag, which drains
Yeah.
from people.
Well, I'm tired, but I'm not withering away.
Not you. The way that it's
Yeah,
acting seems like it's hunting. But that's
Yeah,
what we're confused about, though, is why would you be having these dreams?
Could
Anybody want to
be-
roll some occultism or religion or society? I guess.
I can try.
I'll give you the answer to that question if you can make it. 31.
None of the above.
Don't worry, Ruby. You get to beat up the hag.
Bella, this is still your thing.
Alright. I'll put on my Sherlock hat. Eh,
Try religion.
Hold on, what does Seerolf do again? Just detect magic.
I mean, I can throw you a hero point if you want to re-roll it.
Sure.
Oh, actually, the DC's only 26 to figure out what the deal is with this.
Let me just...
In that case, yeah, definitely.
Because you already know it's a night hag. It's pretty easy to figure this out. Okay,
will
well, if you
use
throw a point on
something.
top, I'll just give you the answer.
Oh, okay.
So,
It's
Oh, God.
That clicked it.
so the way night hags tend to operate, quote unquote, some night hags like to steal souls and put them in little bottles. Don't know where you ever picked that information up, but it's sure is a thing. Well, so yeah, I like to put them in bottles. But if she has a heartstone, one of those fancy witch stones. A lot of fiends, they like to make it their deal, as it were, to what do you call it? They like to corrupt people, and corrupting someone, turning a lawful good person into a chaotic evil person you can stuff in your jars. That's like an immense point of power. It gives them. Ironclaw likes to say that the sucking of vampires is a metaphorical magic, and that's kind of what it is. It's a metaphorical magic. It is incredibly empowering to them to do so. It gives them immense prestige amongst other fiends, and it gives them a special kind of power that a normal soul would not give. Like freshly baked bread, it's a freshly corrupted soul.
Like, once you get chaotic evil, you taste the best.
So it's possible that, this extremely good man.
She's dicking with them.
Yeah, she's just making you lose sleep, making you freak out and think you're responsible for evil. It's just trying to make you do something you'll regret.
Since Heartstones and objects keep coming up, I'm just gonna detect magic in this general area. Boing.
Nope.
I doubt she's gonna be like hiding behind a
She's like
window.
around the corner watching us.
It's
She's
items
literally
too.
right here.
You can pick up a ping of some
Just like-
sorts.
Oh.
Give me a moment. Well, first, Vandy, since this is all... He lets out a sigh of relief and feels a weight lifted from him because he does have a theory on who that girl is. He just didn't want to talk about it initially because he had thought it was a ghost. Let's see. You pick up on, I think... Oh, it's just ethereal jaunt, so it's whatever that is. Conjuration stuff. Someone is jumping between planes nearby and has done so recently. Or is moving around. It's hard to say.
We should get
Okay.
there quickly and check it out.
So, before you go, your nice gentleman would like to explain to you what he thought that girl was. It's only fair that
Oh.
you know the full details.
Alright, hit us with it, Chief.
He'll give you the short version, since it's apparently not even all that relevant. In his early days, after his father died, when they went to Absalom, it turns out they have enough gravediggers and churches. Turns out that Absalom has so many churches, they don't need a new guy showing up. He went back, he went here, because he heard, and apparently the recent mortician died, and he set himself up. He didn't get far, though, and at some point, a person called Roger Swinton gave him a big fat loan. 5 years' time repayment. Before that happened, Swinton died. Unfortunately, at the time when the repayment needed to happen, he was like, I can't afford this yet, and the wife and children might not be as understanding. So he didn't just pay them back quite yet, because he was like, I can make this work. However, by the time he could repay it, by the time he was ready to do so, the family had all been wiped out from a variety of things. It's honestly quite comical how this all happened. Roger's wife and... Ugh. Here we go. Fandy had learned, 3 years later, when the plague took the wife and the young daughter. Then the son, the wastrel son, which is a great term.
Love to hear a wastrel.
The whole thing went into arrears, and when he heard about this a few months later, it was, oh no, he unexpectedly drowned while drunk. Jesus Christ, the whole family just fucked up. So the Swinton line went away, and he just feels terrible, because a lot of their problems with loans and plague and the arrearment of, which aka the bank was going to sell it, all could have been prevented if he had paid back his loan. And that young girl, he thinks, is that young girl, the daughter that died.
So they were using your guilt.
And my memory is apparently, because I'm quite
It's
certain that a
very-
random night hack wouldn't know of any of that.
Probably just tapping into guilt. Just generally.
He yells at the walls suddenly for the hack to come out and reveal herself if this is, because this thing is gonna work if now that we've figured it out.
I mean,
Yeah,
if you're gonna
she's
do
just
that, do
tapping
it
into
outside.
the-
She'll ruin your house.
I don't
I-
want
It's a lovely house.
by pinning her to it.
Yeah, we make a mess when we fight.
Probably.
You say that and Laura's over like, I do nothing.
Laura, you're quite certain that even if you know this is a night hag and you have evidence and everything, you need some way to make that night hag hate your guts to come out, because her plan is going to work one way or another. Keeping him up and sleepless is something she can do regardless of what he believes in.
Mm.
You need something to piss that hag off.
What the hags hate more than anything else?
Someone touching their things.
Yeah, they really hate it when people go in their home.
And
Well, if she's been
We don't
haunting
know
me,
where
then
she
she's been
is.
making my home her home.
Wait. That would mean she has to stay somewhere nearby in order to use the magic. That stuff does have a limited range.
Probably someplace to keep her fancy things, yes.
I think dream magic can have unlimited range, but
Yeah.
Oh, you picked up some magic a minute ago.
yeah, I definitely picked up something with.
Vandy waves his hands. If she hid anything here, that's not possible. The Martins clean pretty much most of my house.
Your shop.
Where
And
was
what
the
are-
thing anyway?
What are the Martins like?
Oh, if you're going to cast doubt upon the Martins, be very insensitive of you. They're a lovely couple, and I've known them for years, and they haven't changed at all. Not in the last 14 months, at least.
It's not doubt on them. What if they just don't notice something? But also, you said you had a place for the embalming fluids and things that you prefer to keep separate.
Yes. That stuff reeks of high heavens before it's properly injected.
Think something could have gotten slipped in there, maybe?
In my embalming fluids?
Or in the area you keep them, or where you do the embalming?
Well, it is the one place that the Martins don't clean.
And it's the least likely for anyone who isn't you to go to.
It's just... He is emotionally devastated, and probably a little sleepless. So he gestures towards the door in the dining hall and goes, if you go to the halls to the back, the house is right there. Here's the key.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's go check this out, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we find something important of this night bitch, we can take her down.
Take her down, sure. Go on ahead. Move along.
Why?
Upper.
Garlic probably is like sniff sniff, and then immediately comes up around the house.
He smells the food I've got with me.
It was
Indeed.
upper.
Alora, just
Eh?
going out the back room, you immediately... Ooh, that does smell faintly of embalming. AKA fucking poison.
Yeah. It's very strong smelling.
The door is this thick door. It has like a rubber ring on the outside to keep the smell in as much as possible. There's a little vent at the top. Everything has been taken care of to make sure that no one has to be bothered by this.
I'm gonna shift to my human form before I go in so it doesn't explode my nose.
This chamber has a strong odor of chemicals and decay. A long brass table stands by the south wall, and at the foot of it, a stained iron grate is fixed to the floor near a pair of barrels and a bucket. By the way, don't look at embalming if you want to see the corpse with any dignity. The process ain't clean. The north wall holds a work table and a variety of unusual implements, including a large syringe with tubing attached to a glass tank filled with a cloudy fluid, a number of surgical implements, some still showing bloodstains. The back wall is covered in shelving that holds hundreds of urns of clay, stone, and metal, as well as blank nameplates in brass, and a few gravestones that have yet to be inscribed with the names of the deceased. Well,
I don't like this place any more than anybody.
other than the smell, it's a little emotionally depressing.
Yeah.
He does, however, keep this place rather tidy for a place that bodies get put in. Or maybe
That's why
because
I
of
like
it.
Spidey.
Probably want to keep things at least semi-sterile.
I'm gonna hit the room with another detect magic just
I was
in
about
case.
to ask you to do that.
Boing.
Anyone got any Arcana?
I
I'm
am
trained.
trained.
Yeah.
Wait,
I'm also trained, but
No,
So
I
I know it doesn't mention this in this version, but you can't divine through metal, stone of sufficient thickness, and all that kind of stuff. Like you can detect into this room from the outside, and vice versa.
So pretty logical to assume if there is any magic, it's under the floor.
I mean,
or the urns.
I mean,
There's a lot of urns, and they're also empty.
There's-
Like,
can't go through them if you want. I'm gonna be
There's
looking
a
at that
grate.
grate.
taking a peek. Is this what happens to the people you kill when you leave them? Whoa. There's a slurry of what we're gonna call viscera down there.
Great.
And
Great.
now there's a little bit of vomit down there too.
Yeah.
There's a reason I didn't look.
I'm gonna
Fool
give
you.
me a minute.
So there's a lot of urns. Are you checking all of them?
What I'm doing is because we're seeing if there's like a witch stone in them.
Mhm.
I'm basically grabbing it and shaking it.
Shake, shake.
Yeah, I'm seeing if I hear anything loose inside any of them.
Thank you, Marina. Thank you for stopping these bad clancers by shaking them around. I had to look something specific up because there are some details that are important. Maybe there's some money in. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Oh, here we go. Okay, several. Okay, some of them. Ah. Huh.
One of them has teeth in it, doesn't it?
No, one of them. I mean, yeah, that's how ashes work. Listen, I have my dog cremated. I know what the ashes look like.
Eh,
One of the most urns are empty. You can make a shake. There's nothing in them. One of them, however, and it's unmarked, has ash in it. It's a lead urn.
Is that abnormal?
well, they're meant to be empty. Like,
Well, for one, this place looks like you put the urns here before you put the bodies in.
yeah, usually, like the ash goes into the crematorium, and then it goes to the people related to the deceased.
It's also unmarked, which is strange. Maybe he keeps like candy in here or powdered sugar.
Don't eat it. Please God, don't eat it.
I mean, you
Yeah,
haven't
I said
opened it
that
yet,
one
so
side. I'm setting aside the suspicious ones to check once we get them all.
you check the rest of the urns. They're all empty and unmarked.
Okay, so I'm gonna open that one with the stuff in it.
Looking inside, you see mostly just a whole bunch of ash and a couple of bits of bones sticking out. But, you know,
Uh,
I'm gonna take one of my arrows and poke inside to see if there's anything abnormal.
if this is someone of any import, this is a great way to end up cursed. But sure.
I mean,
This
yeah,
is why I'm
like
not dumping it.
Alora does like talk about the whole like it's kind of squeaky, but it's also kind of important. So as long as we get a blessing afterwards, it'll be okay.
You hear like the back door opens again, then you hear Opera Fanny going, "Oh my, what a large specimen."
Oh, he's my friend. Don't worry. He's not like a wild monster. He's trained.
Are you certain? He reminds me of the wild ravens. Quite fascinating.
Pat garlic on the head. Yeah, he's a sweetie. But
Mind if I ask how things are going in there? Ooh, do keep the door closed as much as you can. The vent isn't exactly effective, but even I can't stomach the smell for too long.
is there any reason why there would be an urn with ashes in it in the embalming shed?
While I don't know about the fate of the rest of the individuals of the Swinton family, I did cremate Roger Swinton. They just never got around to paying me for the urn and everything. I normally do those kinds of things for free, but they just never showed up to pick it up afterwards.
And they were
I had completely
of the
forgotten.
family.
Yes, they were the ones that borrowed me the money, and I'm honestly quite surprised that his. I've completely forgotten about that thing. Well, honestly, if I wasn't haunted before, I could see Roger showing up any moment now to beat me around the head.
He's now beating me around the head.
Yeah, your stick cut to Fuyu stirring it with an arrow. Fuyu,
Just gently whisk.
can you roll me some perception? Unless you're doing this in a particular fashion, it's kind of up to your sense of touch to figure out if there's anything in here.
Well, I'd be probably doing it pretty methodically, but
Oh, if you're doing it pretty methodically, you'll notice that. How much do you know about anatomy? Do you have any medicine training?
What?
Untrained interpretation doesn't count. This is proficiency based.
I am untrained.
Oh, Alora's here. Alora's trained
I'm
actually.
trained. Yeah.
Well, with the combination of the two, you at some point ask, "Hey, is there like a bone that's not a skull that's like round? Like, do people have thick round bones?"
Is the pelvis round?
Would the pelvis still be in here? How would the pelvis
I
get
don't
in
think
here?
that would. I don't think that would fit in an urn.
Let me actually look it up.
Pelvises are pretty big.
Oh wait, your thing has gotten stuck on something, like a chain. Jesus Christ, what did this guy eat?
Yeah,
Pull it
I'm
out.
trying to get that out of there.
Pulling it out, you reveal, holy shit, this man was loaded. I know that the Hearthstone is in here somewhere as a. There we go.
Does your chain lay
It has
low?
art. Look at this. So you dig around, you pull out. The first you think is a bone, but then you get a chain, and then you get this.
Oh,
Wow, that is a big stone.
Is that your money bone? Is that what Abadar takes when you're dead?
That's what
Detect
Abadar was
magic.
talking about.
As you give it the old magic treatment. Oh, that's sharp.
whew.
Spicy.
This thing
Found it.
is 3 levels higher than you and emits a blast of abjuration.
Abjuration is the
You're pretty sure that touching it like this. We're gonna leave it on the down low because what happens outside is Upper Vandy points over Ruby's shoulder as you're still having this lovely talk about garlic and like, who the hell is that?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
You know that lady that I showed you with the incredibly big legs? That's her. A blue lady with her arms, slender arms, covered in claws and thorns, teeth like a piranha, horns like a ram, legs like an elephant.
Oh god, she got Jinko legs.
Addition,
I was about to say the Jinko jeans.
she has a belt lined with small bottles, each filled with a cloudy black something or another. Oh my fucking god! You're kidding me! What is that? Oh,
Yeah, she's
jeez.
got
Listen,
Jinko
I've never
jeans.
had an excuse to use that emote yet.
Art. We are now officially in Artland.
Kevin
Wait,
James
is that
Flush.
Okay, that bottle she has in the middle kind of looks like she has like a Walkman.
It's got a cassette player.
Yeah.
I'm banging
So she
out
really
those
is a
tunes
Jingo
with
jeans.
Neil. Fun fact:
Listening to my
Alora,
favorite bare naked ladies tracks.
as Alora and Fuyo are like looking through the thing, you can tell each other's alignments, which is a mixture of colors and weird movements and sights on one another. So Alora probably registers as a bland gray because she's got it good. It's like this swirling, colorful mass, and Fuyu is a more ordinate, but still like free flowing kind of stuff. Alora's a gas, Fuyu's a liquid, incompressible but mobile. The hag screeches out, You! I've been working so hard on this stupid little fool. You will give me back my stone, or I will add to the body count in a more visceral manner.
I can do it. I can finally say it.
What are you going to say before we end the session here?
I put the stone down. I take the arrow that I was holding it with. I don't have your stone. And fuck you anyway.
What?
I can quote a terrible video game.
Anyway, you're about to fight a level 13 character creature, which, let me pull up the, what's it called, and remind you how bad that is.
Yeah, the old difficulty rating matrix.
I pull up my pants, hike it up. Hey, let's see how bad the tomboy screwed up this time. Nah, that's fine. What's not
There's
fine?
only one of her.
Oh, you poor summer child.
Yeah, there only needs to be one of a hag.
This
Remember,
ain't
there's
this ain't
only one Fuyu too.
this ain't Curse of Strahd where you just stumble into a coven of hags and things might turn out all right.
Man, can't talk your way out of this one.
And she doesn't want to sell you her pies. I mean, maybe she
Yeah,
does, but later.
There's one thing I remember about hags. They do take extra damage from cold iron.
They do. They are fiends, and they do fall on the demon side of things.
I do have 11 cold iron arrows in my quiver.
She's described as a severe or extreme threat boss, which, if I recall correctly, means you're either gonna get fucked up or you're about to get fucked up.
Yeah.
Also,
We'll see.
Also, wait, I forgot. Your character adjustment shifts this down, doesn't it? So if she's your party +3. No, party level. Does party level get adjustment if your point is? It's gonna be a tough ride. Upper Vandy's probably gonna run off to get some guards. Might help.
Good call.
Cannon fodder, yeah.
Next time, how about we just roll initiative so that we all have this ready to go?
Before we do, I guess since I'm close to friggin' Fuyu will benefit from
Oh, excuse me, I didn't do this right.
and I will not benefit from this.
Okay. Yeah, in Ruby's case, I almost rolled without Battlefield Surveyor on.
And I get disadvantage.
Oracular warning. You receive a flash of insight. Wait, what the fuck does this mean?
I guess it happens like if I'm unaware or
Okay. Who do you want to...
basically
I don't think anyone's going before the hag does, though.
Bella said I get to roll again.
Alright, Fuyu, let's re-roll initiative. Like, it doesn't matter. She goes first. She's got a 40.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
So
then.
America's they were all lower.
yeah,
Even
okay,
a nat
then
20 would put you second.
I probably wouldn't even have
No,
done
not
that.
20 would have put me at well, yeah, I would have been at 38. You're the one with the super high initiative.
Anyway, next time... Oof.
It's
Let's-
hag time.
Next time, I think you guys are gonna feel like your armor class is a little low for this lady. Except for Ruby.
Well, Ruby's armor class is always on point.
I mean, that's full play for you, baby. But I'm still gonna get hit a lot.
On the plus side, you don't have to kill things to make them run away most of the time.
Probably gonna get mind controlled again.
Actually, no, they can't do that. I mean, if you're asleep, they're extremely powerful. They can do all kinds of shit to you. But when you're awake, there's not too much she can really do.
I mean, if you're asleep, anyone can do a lot of things to you.
Okay, she can give you one hell of a nightmare, but if you're awake, there's only a couple of things she can really pull out of her back pocket most of the time. I mean, they're night hacks. They're all about sleepy time. She's got a heart stone.
Hey, Seth.
Yeah.
I had a question about one of my spells.
What is it?
So I can use Scorching Ray with my arrow.
Mhm.
But if I use the 2-action version of Scorching Ray, because it can use up to 2 actions for the spell,
Yeah.
do those rays both get targeted on the same hit? Because an arcane arrow, an eldritch shot can only hit one target.
I guess so. I guess it doesn't get a choice.
Also,
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you right now, in this fight, I'm gonna make an enemy for life if she survives.
Are you gonna piss on her corpse?
I'm gonna hit her with potentially 18d6 damage.
What the fuck
Oh,
are you
that's,
throwing out there? What are you doing?
God, I hope that hits whatever it is.
That's also what I'm thinking about with you're gonna use. Yeah, I'm thinking about using Scorching Ray at its max spell, which would also be about that much fire.
Oh god, I
Does that
forgot.
also benefit Fiend?
Oh fuck yes, you have. Oh, how could I forget you had that spell?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's gonna be like, I am a severe level.
It turns out, God, this is gonna be a Wrath of the Righteous fight, isn't it? She's just gonna be like, I am the most powerful demon in the lands, and then Ashes goes, I have 15 arrows with your name on it. Oh no, every one of those arrows was shot in a single shot, and they're in each of my joints.
Let's see. So if I attack her, this is all theoretical, and I use my Eldritch Shot with the Cold Iron Arrow, all 3 of my current hero points.
Yeah,
Nothing
the new
wrong.
rules say you can spend 3 hero points for an auto crit.
Okay, so I would do an auto crit with Scorching Ray, which does do critical damage apparently.
Yep.
Heightened to 3rd
Yep.
level. So that would be 3066.
This is why I have the new hero point rule, so that in case of an emergency, ass blast them.
Plus, let's just go with this theoretical damage here. Plus that.
Okay.
And she's pinned to that tree, which is now on fire.
My tree, says Opera Vandy.
Oh, and it's also plus 20 because of the cold iron, which she's weak to.
Laura, would you like to roll your spell damage, since you can also insta-crit that if you want it?
Oh,
So
we're
show
actually
the
doing
class
that
what you
right
can
now?
do.
No, we're just doing this theoretically.
Additionally,
how
don't
do you-
forget that she takes 15 extra damage from every cold arrow attack, so cold iron. This, by the way,
how do you
if you are
crit the damage?
if you ever
Report.
wonder why things exist, like you do one weapon dive damage with certain attacks, like this is why. It's because the weakness exploitation is ridiculous.
Like,
That's
nice.
half of it.
Good
So
idea.
that times 2 is 64. Times 2 is a whole.
And that
and
would be
now,
the
my spell damage.
That brings me back to the good old days of Mythic Fireball.
I did this.
Wait, how do you do
Okay, explain this to class. How the fuck does this work? Oh, the damage to each target goes up. Actually, so that's 46 per level. It's a second level spell, heightened to third probably.
Yeah.
So 46 plus 46 makes for 86.
Plus another 46.
Why?
Because it's double
because-
shot.
Ah, fuck.
Because I'm stacking the
Oh,
raise because you said that they
Okay,
all hit
it's
the same
2d6
target.
plus 2. It's okay, so wait. On 2 or more actions, damage increase. Okay. Research your actions to find additional arrow. If you spend 2 or more actions casting the spell. Okay, so you do 46 times 2. It becomes 66 times 2. It was 12d6.
Actually, wait, it requires me to use 3 actions to do Eldritch Shot.
Yeah, but Eldritch Shot includes the spellcasting, right?
Yeah,
Let me go
I
and click on the thingy so you can read it.
I
So
think it says like,
you get 66 times 2. So you get 12d6 in total on the 2 blasts.
and then crit?
I'm going to look this up, but for now we'll roll with it. Essentially,
it
this,
takes 1 or 2 actions.
I think the implication is that you can only use the 1 action version in that context.
1 or 2 actions to cast.
Yeah.
So I can use the 2 action version.
I'm just going to look it up real fast. Eldritch Shot, Pathfinder 2E,
It's
and
right.
then Scorching Ray.
Yeah, I posted. Oh, with Scorching Ray, okay.
But okay, it's a valid choice, but only in its. Okay, you can only use the 1 action version.
Fine, I'll just have to use a different spell.
Oh.
I mean, it's Alora that I'm fearful of. Who just
Whatever
suddenly,
she's got up her sleeve.
who just points her finger at someone and then she just becomes a popsicle. Jesus. But hey, that's what auto crit buying is for. Having fun. This does take me back to the old days. of the righteous.
Yeah.
I am a babao. I am the fear of the common man. Ashes is like, wait, who are you again? Let's just move on.
Ashes was the brother. Fire was the
Listen,
player.
they were both machine guns. That's all that matters in my brain.
Yeah. Ashes was the one that got extra
I
arms.
could just use this new one that I picked up. A Horizon Thunder Sphere.
You gonna Kamehameha him?
I add a ball of lightning onto the arrow. And then I shoot them with that arrow, which does 3d6 electrical. On a critical, they take double and are dazzled for a round.
My eyes!
But the fact that I use 2 actions means that it has an explosion of 30 feet.
Again, I think, but don't forget that you can heighten it too to like your highest
Yeah,
level
that's what
slot.
I'm
I think
coming
so.
to.
So,
So that would also increase it by
76.
46. Yeah.
Jesus Christ, what is wrong with you people?
And the creature takes damage if they grapple or hit you while you're in a sparking state, increases by electricity. But then, that also magnetizes for what my spell arrows are. My spell strike arrows use my other new spell that I would have been putting into it on the boat. Magnetic acceleration.
I love the mental image of like Opera Van. He's like, I'll go get help, and he doesn't even get through the back door.
It's just like explosions.
As she's frozen over, exploded with lightning, and I don't know what the hell Ruby's gonna be pulling off.
Ruby just gave me
I'm gonna hit it very
diamonds.
hard.
As she's frozen over, you shatter the popsicle. And he's just like, oh, I guess I picked the
I
right
guess
people,
these
huh?
are okay. Oh, also, I got this spell.
Oh, God. I can throw a coin at you with lethal speed.
Oh no, here's the better part. Since I'm using it on arrows, I'm magnetizing the arrowhead.
Ha!
My bow is a railgun.
Ha!
And I have 5 spell strike arrows with that spell.
Oh, this is basically, what's it called? A shocking grasp for bows,
Yep, 3d6 bludgeoning and 3d6 piercing.
which is not very impressive, but
That's 66 extra damage.
anyway, next
Plus-
time, I guess this hag got more than she bargained for. Hey, since y'all think you can fucking do this, we can just do it now.
No, I
for doing
think
it
it's
now.
probably best if we wait.
Sure.
Because I feel like there's gonna be more things that happen than we're prepared for.
I gotcha.
Yeah, I'm game to
Also,
try.
I can hit her with classic.
Plus, she's going first.
Oh yeah, shouldn't forget that part. I'll look up the
Yeah.
funnest spell she has.
I just bully us out the gate because we told you our plans.
Yeah.
I have the most powerful spell, Magic Missile.
Oh God. Oh no.
Like a little lazy missile plinks all around the snoot.
She doesn't even raise it. She does the basic version.
Yeah, the vanilla level 1. Pew. Dink.
Meow.
Anyway, you guys should go to bed because it's late.
Yeah.
Wait, God dang, I remembered one of our games we actually had an item of shielding for Magic Missile.
I'm gonna tell you right now, it's this game.
You know, the
Wait,
reason
you-
she's using
you
Magic
have it?
Missile at first level is because it would be so much better if it was in her dreams.
Wait, Bella, do you have the shield item?
Yeah, Brooch of Shielding.
Yeah, just imagine that. She comes in, I will use Magic Missile.
I
It
raise
goes
it to
over towards
9th
Bella.
level for 50 missiles!
It all goes towards Alora. Won't.
The thing probably becomes hot as a nuclear warhead at that point.
It's Don Maku. Toho game.
Yeah, and then it just stops. And she's like, wait, what just? And then we just.
I
don't
have a
tell her
bomb.
what.
I had a
I-
bomb saved up for this boss fight.
20 would go through still, but
20 would still go through! Hey, that's only 20d4 plus 20. You'll make it. I think you could actually survive that, actually. Anyway, Beb. I'm gonna
Yeah,
bully you.
Beb.
Boy.
Sleepy.
bye.
Oh boy.
Who would have thunk this game would become Wrath of the Righteous 2 Electric Boogaloo?
We will kill everything in our way. Away.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Wiggle my little toes
What?
at the air. Wiggle, wiggle.
Wait, wait.
Wiggle, wiggle.
Yeah. Oh,